OAW surgeon different?
A very unique factor I think that we have at our group is that every single surgeon here is fellowship trained, meaning everyone has gone through specialty training in their specific area of focus. So if you come to get your knee replaced or if you come to see me and get your shoulder done, every single person that you come and see has specific advanced training in that field.
You mentioned that your specialty is shoulders. Shoulder issues can be complicated. How do you approach your patients?
Shoulder injuries are incredibly common with either young athletes or especially as people age, people develop shoulder issues, whether it's rotator cuff issues, arthritis. So we can get a sense of it ahead of time based on what their exam is like, what their MRI is like, what they're doing in therapy. But you're right, there's a wide breadth of surgeries that luckily we have a vast array of treatments for.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Do you remember that electric moment when you suddenly realized that she was the one?
The one you were going to love forever.
The one you'd been waiting your whole life to meet.
She is the one.
The one.
Now it's time to find the one engagement ring that sparkles like she does.
Come to Kessler's Diamonds. We have a collection of incredibly special diamond engagement rings called the One Collection.
You need one special engagement ring for the one woman you will ever love.
Kessler's Diamonds is the one jewelry store where you can find the One Collection.
And Kessler's is the one store that offers the world-famous, no excuses, no fine print, lifetime warranty on every diamond engagement ring we sell.
We have the freedom to do this for you because Kessler's Diamonds is the one diamond store owned by its employees.
The One Collection starts at just $550.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Find the Kessler's nearest you at kesslersdiamonds.com.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at wipga.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
Attention Milwaukee County residents. Are you prepared for the unexpected? From sudden storms to unforeseen emergencies, readiness is key. Take charge of your safety with a family emergency plan and an essential emergency kit. Stay informed and connected during emergencies. For tips and resources, visit us online or contact the Milwaukee County Office of Emergency Management. Prepare now, stay safe, and build a resilient community together, because readiness starts with you.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune in to Kyle Bruston Nortman every day from 2 to 5, WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Party people! It's time to get this tailgate started and get you ready for the green and gold game. This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Now broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Alongside Gabe Neitzel, ESPN legend John Anderson, and green and gold legend Brian Bulaga. Here's Alex Strouf.
Bears Week. It's Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Back off the bye. Everybody's refreshed, I can tell, on this Sunday morning. With you until noon here on Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. I'm Alex Strouf with you from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue. Beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Gabriel's back from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Gabe Neitzel is here with me. Hi, Gabe.
Morning, Strophy.
How's your parfait over there?
Oh, it was delicious. It was fantastic. I've got some sustenance. I'm ready to go for the next 3 hours.
Fueled up and ready to go. Good to hear from you. We go to ESPN legend, our friend. You hear him on the Homer Hour on Tuesdays with Steve the Homer True. He is the professor, soon to be, at the University of Missouri. Green Bay native, Green Bay legend, John Anderson is here. What's up, Johnny?
I'm coming from the regional office in Paducah, Kentucky, on my way to Columbia. So it's good to be here. And can I just say the Old Course sweatshirt flex this morning is just I mean, hide it a little. Come on.
Nope.
Good Lord.
I refuse to,
hey,
sir.
where have you been recently?
Awful. I was in Scotland. Didn't you hear?
Cheaper. Nice.
Didn't hear the rumor, huh?
I hope you shot 109. Lost a dozen balls. I hope you hit one. I hope on 18 you hit it into the Rusacks and broke a window and they charged you double. And no, that's good. That's nice. But I just want you to know that the idea of you putting that on so it got noticed. So
okay.
There it is.
All right. Thank you.
It took 90 seconds.
Your Packer hat and not something from the Jigger Inn, but good of you to show restraint.
Well, I mean, it's a special Packer hat because it's an NFC Championship, hat from 2010, which is important because, well, they beat the Bears in that NFC Championship game.
They
so
sure
it is
did.
Bears week.
And a man that started in that game, a first-round draft pick that year for the Green Bay Packers, also happens to be a Super Bowl champion that year for the Green Bay Packers. Our friend, former Packers offensive tackle Brian Bulaga is here as well. Blue, happy Sunday. It's Bears week. I know you're fired up.
Oh, I'm ready. Good morning, guys. It's great to be back. And by the way, I'm fairly certain I have the exact same sweatshirt that I bought when I was there in the summer.
Yeah.
And I think I got a different color, and I got my wife one too. So I'm fairly certain that my merchandise bill that I came back from that week in Scotland, like what I paid just for gear, was more expensive than the flight over there. Like I'm fairly certain that what I paid for everything, every course, you're going to obviously Andrews and you're going to Carnoustie and all these courses. I'm fairly certain I walked away with, 6 bags of gear, and I was stuffing it in
how'd you carry it all back?
I don't know. I stuffed it in the golf bag. I was putting stuff everywhere. I have no idea how it fit. I have no idea, but no, I like the sweatshirt because I did you buy it on the one right off of 18?
Yes, I did.
Right there.
Yep. The pro shop that's just to the right of 18 Green. Yes, sir.
Yep. Okay, that's where I went to. All right, perfect. All right, back
so
to ball.
Me and John having no sense of FOMO here to start off the show. Thanks a lot for that, guys.
Listen, if I'm going to interject all this stuff, then I only got to cover one British Open. It was the last one we did, and it was at St. Andrews. So just walking down the road hole with Tiger Woods wasn't terrible during a practice round.
No.
So now we'll let anybody else who may not have a St. Andrews story worry about it. So that's all. I'm not wearing all my St. Andrews stuff to announce that I was there. But that's good.
That's for another day.
Legendary turf, just like Lambeau or Soldier Field.
I don't know if we view Soldier Field that way, but that's where the Packers are playing today. Nonetheless, 6-3 Packers, 4-5 Bears. Week 11 here in the NFL season. Packers coming back off their bye. The Bears enter this game with a new offensive coordinator following the firing of their offensive coordinator earlier in the week, Shane Waldron. Total dysfunction in Chicago for the Bears, who have lost 3 in a row. The Packers, as I mentioned, coming off of the bye week, which followed a loss to the Detroit Lions. So looking to get right here in Week 11 for the Green Bay Packers. Brian, I want to start with you. I know the bye is obviously a good time to unplug and kind of reset as you gear up for the second half of the season. But for this team, who went into the bye in an ugly fashion, losing to the Detroit Lions, how amped up do you anticipate these guys are to take on the rival Bears and get ready for the second half of this NFL season?
Yeah, I expect them to come out with great energy today. I really do. Because I go back and look at that Detroit game, and I truly believe this, and thinking about it over the bye, if that mistake doesn't happen at the end of the second half, right, and Green Bay goes into halftime down 7, right, and even if they go down 14, right, say Detroit goes down and scores right after the half, just like they did, and you're only down 14 in that game, you still feel much better about, where you're at in that game and how you played. But you go down 21 and the game's blown up. So, if I'm, my mentality, if I was in that locker room right now, I was like, hey, what happened, 2 weeks ago, we were in that ball game. What happened at the end of that? We did that to ourselves. That was really, it wasn't what Detroit did to us. We did that to us. So let's wash that. Let's get ready to make a little run here. We need to make a little run, and it starts right now. And there's absolutely nothing that this team can't accomplish. Everything is right in front of them. They have it right in front of them. The energy should be there. I mean, I don't know the health. I mean, we'll get to that with Rob and where they're at with health when obviously the injury report comes out. I'd imagine that they're pretty healthy, right? I'd imagine that this is about as healthy as they've been in the last 3-4 weeks. I don't know that, but they should feel good about where they're at. And I guess my big question is, will Josh Myers play today? If he does not play, who's playing center? Are we going to see the same offensive line that we saw against Detroit? That's the thing.
It can't.
I guess those are the questions.
We can't see the same offensive line because Jordan Morgan was placed on IR.
That's true.
So Jordan Morgan is unavailable.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was placed on IR Friday or yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. So,
so that's why I didn't see that. I was at a soccer game all day.
Lucky you. Yeah.
No, like a 9-year-old game, not an adult game.
Yeah, so it would be certainly different, Brian, but I will just put this out there because Bill Huber tweeted it out. Jair Alexander is going to have a pregame workout today to determine if he can play. So at some point, I would say within the next hour or so, he'll probably be going through that.
Yeah, and Evan Williams listed as questionable as it stands right now. So as Brian outlined, Josh Myers is questionable. We will see if he goes. Gabe just outlined the tweet. As Brian was talking, Bill Huber from Sports Illustrated tweets that out. Jair will go through a pregame warm-up, and then we will see on Evan Williams. So those are the three to keep an eye on. But other than that, Brian, your point holds true, right? I mean, Jordan Love probably the healthiest he's been since the opener in Brazil, I would guess.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, now that you guys read all those injury stuff, those are kind of a big deal. Those two guys, I'm literally just biting my tongue right now. I'm like, oh man, you idiot, But I guess I mean, listen, I'm just if you don't have Williams, Jair, and then if Myers doesn't play. Those are three big pieces, and now Jordan Morgan goes on IR, so now you're moving someone else in the guard. This is okay. So it shifts the mentality a little bit because now that all these things are kind of they need to win this football game.
They do.
They just need to win the football game. Me thinking earlier in the week they were coming out of the bye week, they were going to be healthy for the most part, and then hearing kind of what's going on. Normally, we talked about this before, pre-game workout normally means you're probably not going to play, lean towards that. I don't know if Myers is doing that or if Williams, I have no idea. I was earlier in the week thinking that they're going to pound the Bears. They're coming out healthy. Now I'm just looking at it. Let's just get the win. Let's stay as healthy as humanly possible and move on to San Francisco.
Yeah.
That's where I've changed my focus now.
I feel similarly to you. The Packers, for the first time since 2005, are 0-2 in NFC North play, obviously falling to both the Vikings and the Lions prior to the bye week. Can't go 0-3 in division play if you still want a chance at the NFC North crown. You've probably got to go 6-2 or 7-1 over these last 8 if you want to win the NFC North. John Anderson, I go to you. It's Bears week. I know you're fired up.
Well, first off, has Jair Alexander played consecutive games? I feel like he's just if he shows up, that's a bonus. I'm going to figure he's not playing, and then if he's there, okay. I just don't know how you establish any sort of a rhythm. And that guy, I think, is as good as he can be because he hasn't been great when he's been in there all the time. I think at some point, if that's your availability, that your dependability is that down, is when do you start going, is this worth what we're paying? Mm-hmm. Can we draft a guy in there? And I like every week it is Jair playing? Is he not? And then you're in and you go, oh, okay. And he plays through the whole game. And then the next week he's not there. And you're like, what happened? I just don't get, and he seems to be that guy all the time. Even when not the season injury he had, this is just I don't know. I just don't feel like anymore he's dependable. Okay, great. He might be in there and he might not. Luckily, I think you're in a situation that you can find somebody that covered DJ Moore a little bit, or you just get him to walk off the field when he's not happy, that they can survive that one more than some other ones when it comes through. I love Bear Week because to me, this is the whole, I guess this is the league, right? This is, I know people don't like the Bears and the Bears still suck and I'm supposed to do that. And I'm a heathen because I liked Walter Payton as a kid. But, even Vince Lombardi had the greatest respect for George Halas. He would always go over and he shook George Halas's hand. There's something about this game that is special beyond just, hey, it's the Packers and the Bears and they like each other. Like the Vikings have no redeeming qualities, right? We hate them. They're terrible. There's nothing. The Bears, at least, I have a modicum of, there's respect there because without the Bears and the Decatur Staleys and the Indian Packing Company, like there's no NFL. And so I always enjoy this game because to me, this is rooted in, it's rooted in a century ago. And so I do have some respect there. That said, I hope LaFleur gets to run his record to 11-0 against these guys. But I do look at wounded opponents and desperate opponents as you got to be wary of those guys, right? They know they've been humiliated. People are just taking shots at them. They have switched their coordinator. Like they realize right now that they've become some of the things we called them here. Are they a laughingstock? Are they dysfunctional? And when guys get like that, sometimes they're on scholarship and they're making money, man. And all that stuff is great. But when you just decide that these people are kind of a clown show, that's when they might rear up and bite you. And that's the thing that scares me a little bit about today is this where they go, okay, we've had enough. Forget money. We kind of have to stick up for ourselves a little bit.
Well, so John, you mentioned the play caller thing. And I think I'd be with you where I'd be a little more scared because how many times have we seen in the NFL? A team fires a play caller, they fire a head coach, and it rejuvenizes that team for about a week, and then they kind of go back to revert to who they were. I would be a little bit more scared of this if Caleb Williams didn't step up to a podium this week and go, yeah, I haven't really talked to Thomas Brown all that
much.
Like, so how is that possible, Bulaga? Brian, how is this possible that the passing game coordinator for a team has not talked very much with the starting quarterback?
It makes no sense. Like I saw that quote and I don't even know what to say about that. That to me, I just don't get what's going on there. Like, I don't understand that, right? Like, because obviously there had to be some internal mutiny to get that OC fired, right? There was something that happened. Obviously, they weren't playing good offensively, but there's got to be more going on to get an OC completely fired, right? Not just have his play calling duty stripped away, but fired, right? So that something was going on there. And then the new guy gets put in, which obviously there had to be some communication with the quarterback and things like that, like who, at least I would assume there was. And then he steps up to the podium and says, we haven't talked much. Who are you talking to then? That's who are you having discussions with about the offense and what you like and what you don't like? And what does the offensive coordinator like? And what is I just don't understand. And if I'm Green Bay, I am expecting a heavy dose of the run game. They need to be ready to stop the run because I think Chicago is going to lean heavy into that. They're going to test Green Bay up front. They're beat up front, Chicago. Their offensive line is beat up. I don't know if the two tackles are playing again. Those two guys were out last week. I don't know if they're going to be. And I think they're missing a guard too now. They're going to try to run the football. And Green Bay needs to be ready to adjust to that. And then also with that, if Chicago has a little bit of success, they're going to play action and go deep with DJ Moore and try to get a cheap one on him. And that's what Green Bay kind of has to be ready for. So, but overall,
and it's what they've given up
what's
before.
going on.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. And that's what gets Green Bay at times, right? Like that's kind of their Achilles heel right now is that they kind of get lulled into the run game and then bang, a play action happens and it gets over the top and they give up big chunk plays. And that's the thing you don't want to happen against, like John said, a wounded opponent. You don't want to give them any hope. You don't give them any hope because if you give them a little bit of sliver of positivity and like some good energy, that can just snowball. And when that snowballs, I've been in that situation where you're clearly the better team. You're going against a wounded animal and you give them a little bit of confidence and it just snowballs out of control. And especially in a rival game like this where there's all the Bears fans care about is beating the Packers at this point. They know their season's done. So now it's how can we ruin the Packer season? So if the Bears get into it a little bit, the fans are going to get into it a little bit, which makes the environment tougher. So best case scenario, jump on these guys as early as possible, kill the life in the stadium, and then just take it over. But easier said than done, unfortunately.
So what you're saying is don't do the Jags game over
Yes, correct.
Yes, exactly. Correct. Don't repeat.
Right.
Don't repeat that. Yes.
So
you're 100% right.
If I'm on that offensive line, Brian, and you're doing this kind of line dance where you're plugging people in, you're moving that, you got one. Is that the easiest thing to do then, is just to line up and try to pound people? Is that the best way to cover those, patch over what would be a weakness there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw last week, and not all of them were on the offensive line for Chicago, 9 sacks, right? Like when you have a 9-sack game, there's a lot of issues, right? And yes, a lot of those are blocking issues, and then some of them are the quarterback issues, but you know that those guys can't hold up for longer than 2.5, 3 seconds, right? And that's an issue. So to hide that, you got to go up quick, 3-step drops, get the ball out of his hand, and pound the rock. And Green Bay is probably going to see a multiple scheme kind of look from Chicago. They're probably going to get a lot of power, a lot of duo and zone. So they're going to make Green Bay play different run schemes to try to protect these guys up front, would be my guess. They're just not going to run zone so Green Bay can just tee off and jet up the field. They're going to try to go power football because they know the way Green Bay's D-line jets up the field. And if you get double teams to stop that jetting up the field initially, you can get movement on guys and displace them and get up to the second level. And they got a good back. Chicago's got a good back. He's a good running back. So if they're able to get some positivity there, that's something they're going to try to build on because they can't. I get Green Bay's struggle has been rushing the passer. I understand it. I mean, I'm on board with everybody, but you can't go into this game, as the Chicago Bears thinking we're going to live in the 5-step, 7-step drop world. Like you just can't do it after a 9-sack game. Because once the first sack happens, man, the confidence just starts to plummet, and then those bad thoughts start to creep up in your head again. Like I was a part of one, the Fail Mary game in Seattle. We gave up 7 sacks that game. I was responsible for 2.5 of them. Like it's a bad place to be in when you give up 7 sacks in a game, let alone 9. Like it's a bad. I mean, you start to question a lot of things about who you are as a player when you get on the bus after that game. Like, geez, like what happened out there? What are we doing? And that's what you want to get them back into that mind frame as early as possible. And if you're Chicago, you want to protect your guys from getting in that mind frame.
Well, hopefully Rashawn Gary has some offensive linemen doubting their future. That's my hope today because Rashawn Gary needs I don't know if we can qualify it as a bounce back game, but he needs a game where he looks like the guy we have hoped he could be, which he sure hasn't so far this year. Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel, John Anderson, Brian Bulaga. Hanging out with you. We continue to preview this one. Packers-Bears. Packers looking for their first win in division play still this season here in Chicago today. A noon kickoff on Fox between the Packers and the Bears. More next. It's Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Swing into action to experience Sweetgrass and Sage Run in 2025. The Island Resort and Casino stay and play packages are a hole-in-one. By blending award-winning golf with exceptional amenities, we've become the premier resort destination in the Midwest. But don't wait. These popular packages fill up fast. To book your 2025 golf getaway and secure your spot on the green, visit islandresortgolf.com today.
If you want to win at tailgating, you need to Boatify your beverage choice. Boaterbox wine is the ultimate addition to your tailgate party. This premium wine comes in an eco-friendly box, fitting perfectly in your cooler or trunk. And there's no heavy glass or corkscrew to deal with. One 3-liter Boaterbox is the equivalent of 4 bottles of wine, so it's great for sharing. Bring the wine that wins with wine critics, where there's quality in every sip. Boaterbox. Be open to anything. Please drink responsibly. Must be 21 or older. Boaterbox Vineyards, Manteca, California.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey, riding with you every mile since 1977.
Macy's Herald Square is the holiday destination, and this year we've added our first ever Macy's Holiday Square by Urban Space. Come and experience a one-of-a-kind wonderland of pop-up shops filled with unique gifts like handcrafted chocolates, homemade Strouf waffles, personalized ornaments, candles, and more. While you're there, shop Macy's exclusive collab with Disney for gifts you won't find anywhere else. It's Macy's Holiday Square by Urban Space, only at Macy's Herald Square on 34th and Broadway.
If fashion is your thing, eBay is it. eBay's where I find all my favorites, from handbags to iconic streetwear, all authenticated. For real. This time, a little Supreme, some Gucci. I even have that vintage Prada on my watch list. That's why eBay's my go-to for all my go-tos. Yeah, eBay. The place for new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. eBay. Things people love.
Do you remember that electric moment when you suddenly realized that she was the one?
The one you were going to love forever.
The one you'd been waiting your whole life to meet.
She is the one.
The one.
Now it's time to find the one engagement ring that sparkles like she does.
Come to Kessler's Diamonds. We have a collection of incredibly special diamond engagement rings called the One Collection.
You need one special engagement ring for the one woman you will ever love.
Kessler's Diamonds is the one jewelry store where you can find the One Collection.
And Kessler's is the one store that offers the world-famous, no excuses, no fine print, lifetime warranty on every diamond engagement ring we sell.
We have the freedom to do this for you because Kessler's Diamonds is the one diamond store owned by its employees.
The One Collection starts at just $550.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Find the Kessler's nearest you at Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
Gabe Neitzel here. I know you've already heard me talking about how Mentality has helped me over the years, but there are others like me. Jason has been using Mentality for a while now and is loving the results.
I have gotten a handful of friends, probably a couple dozen, especially those that are closer to my age, maybe even a little bit older, because I just tell them, you got to check this out. Do not wait any longer. Just go and admit it. Yep, you're at an age where things are slowing down. I promise you, you're not going to regret it, and that's truly what I get. I'll get a phone call after, like, man, I feel like a kid at Chuck E. Cheese right now.
Learn more today at LowTUSA.com.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Do you think about me now and then? Yeah. Do you think about me now and then? 'Cause I'm coming home again.
Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, with you 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 620 WTMJ. Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel, John Anderson, the former Packer, Brian Bulaga, hanging out with you. Rob Domofsky from ESPN will join us in about 10 minutes from Chicago to break down some of the injury report and everything else going on between the Packers and the Bears, a noon kickoff at Soldier Field today. Hey, this just came in on the text line from our friend RJ in Atlanta on 800-990-3776. RJ says, I need a defensive statement today. Gary needs to be elite. Can Lucas Van Ness have a pass move? Does Wyatt have an advantage in the interior? Kenny Clark needs to play to his ability. John, Brian, you guys mentioned it last segment. The Patriots who beat the Bears last week 19-3, just a shellacking. Bad team. 9 sacks for a pretty lowly Patriots pass rush. 9 sacks against the Bears last week. Gabe and I had this discussion Friday on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, and I want to open it up to you guys. How many sacks do you need to see from the Packers defense today to be satisfied? Is there a number that comes to head, or is there a certain display that comes to head from the Packers pass rush today that would leave you satisfied? John, I'll start with you.
No, I don't need to see any particular number, right? Like the Tennessee thing. What they end up with 8 at Tennessee?
Yep, 8.
Like the final count is great. I just would like to see the guy under duress, especially a young kid like Caleb Williams, because I still think there are times he reverts to being like, oh, I can do what I did in college. I can outrun people. Then you realize that, oh, wait, everybody on that roster is a pro, and I can't run away from them, or I can't get away from them because he can move. So I just want the guy uncomfortable all day. I want him to, every time he gets a pass play put in, go, okay, I've got it. This is going to be uncomfortable for me. They're going to be around me. They're going to be at my feet. They're going to put a paw on me. After I throw it, I'm going to get clocked. Like if some of those end up with sacks, that's great. What I don't want is, he's standing back there and picking out who he wants. I don't want like, oh, look, we've got guys around him. And somehow when he should have been down even for 3 yards or 6 yards, now he's 6 yards past the line of scrimmage. Like, that's all I really care about, is just make the guy's life miserable. If that ends up being a number of sacks, whether it's 1 or 9, great. But just, I have a little of the Al Davis. I get it. The quarterback must go down. He must go down hard. But that doesn't have to mean always a sack. Just make sure that guy's miserable, and that, like, when he gets done, he's like, I'm gonna need some ice. I'm gonna need to go in the cold tub for a while, right? Like, that's and then if the numbers come, that's fine. It's like sometimes when you run the ball, like, okay, wow, they ran it 30 times and they only got 108 yards. But you know what? You ran it 30 times and you were in control of the game and it was effective enough. And so that's kind of what I'm looking for. I don't have any magic number that's going to satisfy me, other than I hope the guy comes out looking like, 212 pounds of lumps.
All right. Fair enough from John Anderson. Brian, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with John. Like, there's not a magic number, right? Like, it you can't really put a number on the heat a quarterback is feeling, right? Like, it's sure the 9 sacks is a outrageous number, and it's very it's in your face because it just doesn't happen.
So is 7 apparently if you're in Seattle.
Well, yeah, but believe me, that was a lot for me too. I've never been a part of something like that until that day. That was rough. That was bad. But
I'm glad you've learned to let it go, though. I'm glad that even though, a decade later, you've been able to let it go and forget it all, Brian.
Well, I had to move on from it. I mean, listen.
Certainly sounds like it, yeah.
If I had to, if I had to on that for the rest of my career, that would have been in my head, man. It would have been eating me up. But I think I for sure want to see some type of performance where we get him on the ground at least 3 times, right? 3 times, I think, has to be a number that he needs to be on the ground and at least being hit 5 to 6 times, right? Like, where they're close. And like John said, they're at his feet. They feel him. He's, he throws the ball and Rashawn Gary runs by and gives him a shoulder in the back just so he knows he's there. Like, just small things like that get a guy's head, like, right? And normally what protects quarterbacks from that is when you have an offensive line that's good, that's veteran, that if they start doing that to your quarterback, you start getting in the D-line's face, and that stuff normally ends really quick. And the Bears don't have that. They don't have any guys that really, especially with all the injuries they have, that are going to do that. So Packers can try to play bully ball here a little bit with Chicago's offensive line and get in their head and get in Caleb Williams' head. And that's what I expect. Like, I'm hoping, and Rob is really good at this, when ESPN breaks down all the stats at the end of games, like, the pressure rate needs to be enormous. Like, the pressure rate of, how much the quarterback is pressured per pass snap, like, that needs to be really high today. And that's really more of what I'm looking for, because sacks are great. And sometimes, a DN does everything right, or a D tackle does everything right, and they're right there, and the quarterback does something, gets it away or dirts it, and he doesn't get the sack. But essentially what he did was get a sack, but it doesn't come up on the stat sheet. So the pressure is what I'm looking for. And with 4, let me be very clear with that, with 4.
Well, and that's the thing for me, Brian, is they could go out and do the exact same thing that the Patriots did last week, and they could have 9 sacks, and don't get me wrong, I will celebrate the hell out of that in the moment. I will celebrate that this afternoon. But it won't make me feel better or think that they've suddenly solved the pass rush, especially with just the front 4 going forward, because the Bears' offensive line is just so bad. It's about a consistency thing, right? Like, okay, let's say they go out and get 9 this week. It's about, okay, getting out and getting that pressure and making quarterbacks uncomfortable going forward. I don't think there's a number. Again, I will celebrate every single sack of Caleb Williams today, but I don't think there's a number that's going to make me feel better about this front 4 at the end of the day today.
And you guys have touched on it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They had 9 sacks. They're not in the market for that again. So they're not going to put him back there. They're going to get it out quick. They're going to throw 3. Everything's going to be scripted. There's not going to be – if he gets to a 3rd read, that's going to be an accident.
Yeah.
You would
that
makes
so,
it really
John.
hard.
You would think so, but you would also think that the quarterback would have conversations with the passing game coordinator. With the Bears, anything is possible.
You're right. But you would think that after this, you would coach your way to minimize those effects. By the way, if that's the case, then defensive line get to do other stuff too, right? Get your hands up, jump around, do all those things. By the way, Brian, how much can you get away with if you're a defensive guy putting a shoulder in your quarterback before you guys on the offensive line decide that there's been enough of that? How much do you allow, like, okay, he can do that, and then when do you have to step in?
It's normally, well, with Aaron, it depends. I guess it depends on who's your quarterback, right? Like with Aaron, it was the first time. It was the first time a D lineman did it, and it all depends on who saw it too, whether it was TJ or Dave, or I mean, you jump on it right away and you address it immediately, because the faster you address it, the less it's gonna stop really quick, because the refs are only gonna do so much, right? Like they're not gonna protect them from that. Like that's up to us up front to do that. And what normally ends up happening when DNs do that is, the tackle will block him and the guard will come in for the rib shot and knock him down, and you do a little extracurricular while he's on the ground, and you make sure he understands, like, that's going to be the end of that. And that's normally how those things work themselves out. Like that's, and then they stop. And that's the way it goes. So
I love the self-policing that goes on.
You have to do it. And that's, I mean, and that's what people like, that's the game within the game. Like there's so much that happens from play to play that people just don't really see, because I mean the TV camera only shows so much, and it only allows you to see what's happening so much. And if there's John going on, they normally cut away from it so that you don't hear any of the hot mics of what's happening. So like they only allow you to see a little bit of the game from, or what the NFL wants you to see. When there's so much going on between plays, or as their guys are unpiling, like there's a lot happening. So it's all part of the game within the game.
Really good story, and thank you for keeping it FCC approved, Brian Bulaga. Well done by you. John Anderson, Gabe Knights, Alex Strouf, hanging out with Blue. Coming up next, Rob Domofsky, ESPN NFL Nation reporter, joins us live from Soldier Field to bring us all the latest. Packers, Bears, coming up at noon. Green Bay, 5.5-point favorites, according to ESPN Bet as it stands. That line has moved throughout the week in favor of the Bears following the firing of their offensive coordinator and all the messy situations going on down in Chicago. Rob Domofsky next. It's Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
We're back with Green Bay Game Day after this on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Calling all green and gold fans. Ditch the stress and ride in style to Green Bay with the Milwaukee Broadhouse. With round-trip rides starting at $85 per person to every home game, you can enjoy all you can drink on the bus. No need to worry about traffic or parking. Milwaukee Broadhouse even has a private restroom on board. Upgrade your experience with an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate package for $30 more. Don't miss out. Secure your seat now at MilwaukeeBroadhouse.com. Let's make every game day legendary.
Green and gold fans, it's game day. And you know what that means. Tailgating with friends and raising a glass to our favorite team. This season, make Bacardi the star of your pregame party. Whether you're mixing up a classic Bacardi and cola, refreshing Bacardi lime and soda, or a smooth spiced and cola, Bacardi is the perfect pick for game day fun. Grab a bottle and get ready to cheer on Green Bay with the best in hand. Available now at your local retailer. Live passionately, drink responsibly. Bacardi USA, Miami, Florida. Rum 40% alcohol by volume.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at WIPGA.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're looking for a truly unique luxury SUV, look no further than the new Range Rover Sport at Land Rover Waukesha.
The new Range Rover Sport SUV provides power, performance, sporting luxury, and all the latest technology and connectivity you want. plus the most luxurious ride.
And now is a great time to get an offer like this.
Get 3.9% special APR financing for up to 48 months on a new 2024 Range Rover Sport at Land Rover Waukesha. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Ortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sport called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni frozen pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian, taste what all the screamin' is about.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this fall? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Junior achievement is where dreams take flight. We are helping students connect what they learn in school to future work and career success. We are teaching them how to manage money to achieve financial security as adults. And we are showing them that starting a business also means changing lives and communities. However, we can't do it alone. Find out how you can help.
This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel, John Anderson, Packers legend Brian Bulaga hanging out with you. We go to Chicago now to welcome in our friend. He is ESPN NFL Nation reporter Rob Demovsky live from Soldier Field. Rob, are you warming up pregame with Jair Alexander? What's your pregame routine today?
No, I'm comfortable at the stadium, Alex, and it's weird being in Chicago. It's not very windy, and the grass looks like it's still growing. So this field notoriously terrible, as I'm sure Brian would tell you, but it actually looks pretty good today.
Wow, that's shocking. Literally shocking.
It is.
That's good. How's the weather? What's it like? What is it? Cold? Is it not cold?
It's going to be in the low 50s. The sun, it's partly sunny, partly cloudy. However you want to look at it. I think it's going to be. Weather will not be a factor today.
Interesting.
That's disappointing. That's disappointing. I mean, it really is. I mean,
I'll ask the tough questions, which obviously has nothing to do with the game. So, Demovsky, you haven't seen it, but we've got Gabe's here in his Old Course sweatshirt. You're a Chicago guy. What place do you want to play in Chicago that maybe you've never played?
There's two golf courses that I've never played here that I've always wanted to. Chicago Golf Club being one, which is the oldest place, I think, in maybe the Midwest. And then there's a place up on the lake called Shore Acres. It's almost to the Wisconsin border, Lake Bluff, Illinois. I've not checked those off, but I've got most everything else, Medina, Butler National, on and on and on.
Okay, good enough.
Butler's a good one. I played Butler. It's fun.
There you go. What the Packers do? What they do in their bye week? What because sometimes they go through self-scouting, sometimes they go through get healthy. Like, did they do anything productive, or did they just sit around?
It's funny because LaFleur said, he goes, we gave the coaches projects to do, but they could do it from home. Like, it was work from home week, I guess, last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, which normally, you'll come in through Thursday and then take a long weekend. But not saying that they weren't working, but took a different approach to it. The one thing that LaFleur said I thought that was really interesting this week, John, is that they decided they're going to need to do more competitive periods in practice and less off the cards, meaning, having the defense run the scout stuff and the number one offense going up against that and vice versa. He said they did it a little bit at the end of last year, a little bit more, and he felt like it just got him a little bit sharper. So you don't see a lot of ones against ones in practice during the season, but LaFleur said he wanted to get back to that a little bit in the second half of the year, which I thought was interesting.
Who do you think that ends up benefiting more, the offense or the defense?
That's a great question. My gut instinct is the offense, because, look, Jordan Love's interceptions aren't because he didn't know what the defense was doing. They were forced plays. They were guys he just didn't see, things like that. So I think more, sort of better reps for the offense has got to help with the interceptions, I would think.
Brian, you were shaking your head a little when he started talking about this.
Yeah, because I mean, if I was a veteran player and I got told later in the season we're going to do more one versus one periods, I'd be pissed.
The great thing is,
right now?
There's no veterans on this team,
That's
Brian.
exactly right. That's exactly what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say. They got two players over the age of 30, and one of them's the kicker, right?
Rob Domofsky with us here, Green Bay Game Day. Rob,
I tell you who I am.
we're breaking up with Brian here, so we'll go to this injury report. Evan Williams, Jair Alexander, Josh Myers. Give us the latest on those three.
Josh Myers is good to go. He is actually completely off the injury report with no status. He had his left wrist is still really wrapped up, but at least he had use of his fingers and it was an open kind of cast. 2 weeks ago when he tried to play, it was not, so he couldn't go. Evan Williams, I would guess, is probably going, and Jair, I never know what to make of it, but I talked to him this week for a story, and then just said, "Hey, you playing this week?" And he goes, "Maybe this week, maybe next week."
Oh.
So I don't know.
Doesn't make me feel great.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a knee injury. He's got a knee injury. He didn't play the game before the bye, right? Mm-hmm. And then he had the bye. I mean, it's basically been 3 weeks. So, that's a little weird.
Can we call that a knock on him now? He just is. I don't know how dependable he is.
No, I think that's fair, John. I do. I think when he plays, he's still a really good player. But at some point, you got to say, do we have him or do we not have him? And you can't not know from week to week. I mean, a little bit like Bakhtiari in that sense. Not quite the same situation, but great player when he played. But if you don't know if you're going to have him from week to week, what good does it do you?
As long as we're talking about injuries, Rob, I was getting excited for the potential return of Marshawn Lloyd, and he's trending in a good direction. Then all of a sudden he has appendicitis. Is his season just going to be done because they opened up the window to activate him? I don't know how long it's going to take him to recover from this. Is this going to end up being a timing thing where it's just basically going to be a redshirt year?
Probably, that's my suspicion, but. You can activate a player off IR twice in one season. You can do that. Okay. So what would have to happen is at the end of the 21-day window, which we're a week into it, I believe they would have to add him to the roster briefly and then put him back on IR, and then they can open that window. You get 8 activations during the year. Now his would count twice if they did it. They are, I was told, trying to explore something with the league where, because this is not an injury, he could go on the NFI, the non-football list, or non-football illness, or whatever it's called. And that might, allow them not to have to put him back on the roster for a day, and he can go right from that to then opening up a window. But even then, it's 3 weeks, or it was 3 weeks when Bakhtiari had his appendicitis in 2022. Missed 3 games and came back. So obviously, if Lloyd follows a similar time frame, that is outside of what's left of the 21-day window. So they would have to do something. But getting a running back late in the season, a guy with fresh legs. That was sort of James Starks in 2010.
I was just
right?
about to say that. Absolutely.
Or even Aaron Jones last year.
Yeah, so I do think I wouldn't completely close the book on him, but it's definitely going to be, probably a month.
Rob, let's go to Jordan Love because obviously it's been really since week one, since he's been, I imagine, as healthy as he is now coming off of the bye. I know Adam Stenovich was asked several times this week, do you think the injuries are the reason he's been throwing so many interceptions? And he shot that down multiple times, saying, no, it's the decision-making. It's the decision-making. How do you think, close to, I imagine, full health for Jordan Love will factor into his play?
I think, first of all, you're right. He probably is. This is probably the first time he's been this healthy since, going into the Eagles game in Brazil. And look, Matt LaFleur said this week, anytime anyone who throws the ball for a living has a lower body injury, it's going to affect something, whether it's your footwork, your ability to drive into a throw, your mobility, anything like that. So there's no doubt that it had to impact him. Is that the reason he threw 10 interceptions? That I don't know. I still think it was more decision-making and just vision on the field more than anything. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good sign that he was a full participant in practice. Was off the injury report on Friday with no status of any kind. So I do think if he's going to play the kind of football he played in the second half of last season, that he's in a good position to do it with his health.
I hope so. Certainly hope so. Rob, before we let you go, as always.
Rob.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I just got a question. Rob, what started the second half of this season? What do you think this team identity is going to be? You think this is going to be a very Josh Jacobs heavy team going this second half of the season? Like they're going to be leaning into him big time? I get they paid Jordan Love a lot of money and you want that guy to be the centerpiece, but to me personally, you don't get it back like Jacobs to not use him in the winter months. So just trying to find this identity for this offense.
And I think that starts today, Brian, because the Bears' run defense is not very good. And LaFleur has historically run the ball quite a bit and pretty well against Chicago. I think they've got over 150 yards rushing in several of these games, these 10 straight wins over the Bears. I think that's – and the other thing, too, is we've heard him talk about it since he got here in 2019, is that the play-action game, it's all built around marrying the run and the pass, and – I mean, they have that now. They have teams that, defenses that respect the run. Okay, so now you can integrate some passing stuff in there that maybe catches them a little bit off guard. So I do think that's definitely a focus. I think, quite honestly, just catching the football, they got to catch the ball. And they can't have drops like they've had. But I think if you marry those two things together, I think you got a pretty good offense.
No doubt about that. Rob Demovsky, ESPN NFL Nation reporter covering the Packers. As always, we let you go with a final thought and a game prediction, Rob Demovsky.
Well, when's the last time the Bears have scored double digits, right? I think they have 27 points in the last 3 games. I don't know if it's 9. I don't think it's 9, 9, and 9.
It's 3, 9, and 15 in that Hail Mary loss to the Commanders.
That's
15.
Right. That's right. The 15. So I think this is. I'm going to say they don't get a touchdown today. I think it's kind of 21-6, something like that. I'm going that kind of a game.
Wow, that would be 3 straight games without a touchdown then for the Bears, despite firing their offensive coordinator this week. So Rob Demovsky, certainly an optimist when it comes to the Bears' moves this week. It certainly sounds like, that has them trending in the right direction. Rob, appreciate the time as always, brother. We'll be listening to you. We'll be watching you. We'll be reading you. And safe travels home from Chicago. Appreciate you.
All right, we'll be seeing you.
That's Rob Demovsky, the great Rob Demovsky from ESPN. Brian just asked a very interesting question I want to dive a little bit further into. So we enter the second half of the season. What is the Packers' identity? I don't know that we really have an answer, so I'm going to give everybody the commercial break to ponder that. Ring the bell and tip-tap for another Green Bay showdown versus Chicago. Salvation Army salutes bell ringers this holiday season and asks that you donate into the Red Kettles or electronically with tip-tap. Your support helps those in need throughout Wisconsin. More Green Bay Game Day coming up on the other side right here on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Day will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Who's looking
Looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
Ewald Automotive Group's Black Friday sales event is back. Now through November 30th, get up to $10,000 in rebates, or up to 10% off, or 0% financing. All with Ewald's exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Our biggest savings, lowest rates, maximum trade values, and huge selection. Now through month end at every Ewald location.
Go to EwaldAuto.com.
On select models with approved credit, all rebates and incentives to dealer. See dealer for details. Expires month end.
All you men, listen up. It's future Mrs. Brust here. I want to tell you about my wonderful experience at Robert Hack Diamonds. My fiance Ben and the team at Robert Hack picked out my dream engagement ring for me, and then I personally worked with their team to pick out the perfect wedding band. Experience what I did at Robert Hack Diamonds. Stop in at their Brookfield or Greenfield location. While you're there, mention ESPN and spend at least $2,000 right now on any of their in-stock jewelry and get a free pair of 2-carat total weight diamond studs. It's a deal you can't pass up. If it wasn't for Robert Hack Diamonds and their team of jewelry experts, I wouldn't have trusted my fiancé Ben to make the right call. View what they have in stores online at roberthackdiamonds.com and get free diamond stud earrings. All you have to do is mention ESPN at their Brookfield or Greenfield locations when purchasing at least $2,000 of in-stock jewelry. I promise you won't be disappointed.
Mark Tauscher here, encouraging you to join in on the fun with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks keeps your lineup live. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when your picks hit, you get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. And you can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
Change the way you do business and take more control of the payment process with Fifth Third Bank's Treasury Management Solutions. Their market expertise and managed services streamline the entire payment process and integrate with your existing systems, giving you more control than ever. With their suite of payment solutions, you will soon recognize new revenue sources that can save time, offset operating costs, and improve the bottom line, all customized for your business. Fifth Third Bank National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Green and Gold fans, it is game day. Kick off your tailgate with Bacardi. Whether it's a Bacardi and Cola, lime and soda, or spiced and cola, Bacardi is your game day go-to. Grab a bottle at your local retailer. Live passionately, drink responsibly. Bacardi USA, Miami, Florida. Rum 40% alcohol by volume. It's Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel with you in the Gruberl offices. One Call That's All studio in downtown Milwaukee. John Anderson, ESPN legend, and Packers legend Brian Bulaga with us as well. Brian, you stumbled into it. Packers' identity as we enter the second half of the season. We talked a little bit about this Friday on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, and I think what we landed on as a collective, Gabe, myself, and Josh DiMaggio, young, explosive, mistake-prone.
Yeah,
I think
inconsistent.
Yeah, we're the three we landed on. But I'm curious, as you guys pondered that in the commercial break, did anything else pop to your mind in terms of the Packers' identity as it stands here 9 games into the NFL season?
Yeah, I mean, all those are accurate. I mean, and I always looked at identity, maybe not the way you guys were describing it. I always looked at it as like the play style on the field.
Sure.
Right? Like it was always based on, I mean, and maybe from outside, I mean, now that I'm not in the locker room, but outside looking in, it's different. But like we knew what our identity was. Like our identity was an Aaron Rodgers driven team. What can we do to support him? Right? Like can we give him, 15 runs a game that allows him to work play action effectively and take some heat off of his back so he's not in 3rd and long all the time. We knew the identity, and we knew that we had to be a good group up front to pass block. We knew our receivers are really good, and our running backs, we had good backs throughout our time, but our running backs were not really there to be stalwart backs.
Totally.
That's not what they were. They would get their 10 to 13 or 15 touches a game, and they'd be weapons out of the backfield, especially once Aaron Jones got there, right? We saw a different dynamic open up once he got there because he was a different type of player. With this offense, I'm not sure, because of when Jordan Love got hurt, Willis went in, we saw what the identity was. It was Josh Jacobs, right? Like it was him. He was the identity. And it looked good, right? Like everyone really liked the way they were playing. It was they controlled it, and it was great. And I'm not saying like, oh, Jordan Love is not, he's very good. But I think he comes back injured, and he wants to be a part of it, and he's pressing a little bit too much, and mistakes happen. And that's kind of what we've seen. So if I'm Matt LaFleur looking at this, because if I'm working from home and I'm, looking at what I got going on, I'm going back to the Josh Jacobs formula. I'm going right back to it. I'm not saying you have to play quarterback like Malik Willis did with Jordan Love, but I'm going back to that formula where I'm letting Jacobs be the centerpiece. And when you allow a guy like that to be the centerpiece, everything opens up for Jordan Love to do what he did last year, because it happened last year with Aaron Jones. Everyone can agree with that. When Aaron Jones came alive last year, so did Jordan Love. So the recipe has already been there. It's happened already. It's just getting back into that rhythm of it.
Yeah, it's baked into the cake. John, what about you? What do you think?
So I literally wrote down Malik Willis, right? And it's not, I think the issue is they have Jordan Love, who has shown that he can be really good. And he's got this skill set. And now we're in love because we're like, oh, look, this wide receiver committee, these guys are all so good. So I feel like there's this desirous effect that we've got to use those and take advantage of those, whether it's the money, whether it's the talent. We got these guys. Give the ball to Josh Jacobs and run everything off of that. And I had said to to Jason Wilde, those are different guys, right? One's the bald guy and one's the guy without
one and the same, though. I hear what you're saying, yeah.
So I had said to Jason, I said, I feel like we shrink the playbook. And he's like, no, I don't. And I was literally, because I was driving God knows how many hundred of miles yesterday, and I was driving by, and there's one particular lawn, he had these bushes everywhere, and I'm like, those need pruning. And I'm thinking, that's what the Packers actually need to do. They need to take the game. They just need to prune the game plan and the playbook and give Love, give him his stuff, but not as much, and just, be crisper with it. Let's take this. These guys are good, but they're young and they're wild and they're kind of growing everywhere. They just need to shape this in some way. And the easiest way to do that is run it first. They've been their best team when they do that. You don't have to be like Malik Willis and go, okay, we're going to give you 6 pass plays. We can do more than that, but just don't go crazy. Do what works. On 2nd and 1 sometimes, while I know you can take a shot, good, but sometimes also just plow ahead and get some new downs. Right? On 3rd and 1, I don't need any fancy rollout screen. How about you just give it to Josh Jacobs and get a yard? Block it well, and and don't go crazy, right? Like I always have this question, and I'll throw it to Brian. Like this idea that we're going to take what the defense gives us. Okay, but also at what point can we just impose what the hell we would like to do because we're better than you? And that's what I would like to see them do today. It's like, we're better than the Bears. We can do these things better than you. So instead of just doing, we'll give what the defense gives, why don't we just go ahead and ram it and do what the Packers do best and do that? Right? Lombardi did that all the time. How many times we run the Packer sweep? Here, it's coming, but you know what? We do that better than you, and we're going to impose our will on you. And when you do that, then the other team's got nothing to stand on, right? If you can just go, here, we're going to do our best thing, and that's fine. Here it's coming, and you know it is. And we'll just, like, how many times you're like, we think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw the ball? Yep, and he just threw it better than you can defend it. And go do those things. And so I think they're at their best when Josh Jacobs is the hub of the wheel and everybody else is spokes. So let's have everybody be, and when I want Jordan Love to be the hub at some point. Don't know that he's quite ready yet, or let's have Jacobs move him over into that by being the center of that. So that's a lot of talk to say. Give it to Jacobs and let everybody else play around that guy.
1,000,000% a reason you go out and get a guy like Josh Jacobs. It's to utilize him. Mm-hmm. Gabe?
Well, yeah, because with Jacobs, the reason why I always thought they got Jacobs instead of keeping Aaron Jones around is because as explosive as Aaron was in those last 5 games, where he did something he had never done in his career before and have 5 straight 100-yard games on the ground.
Yeah.
There was concern of, okay, is he durable? If we want to do this for an entire season, is he going to be available to us, or do we go out and get a bigger back? Yeah, Jacobs not as explosive. Probably not going to have the electric, 50-yard touchdown reception that Jones had last year in Chicago where he's zigzagging all over the field. But I completely agree where I think they have to get back to running the football more consistently and then open up all the play action off of that. And with the wide receivers, I think they need to cut down reps for everyone. It's great that we think all these guys are good. Well, we're at the point of the season now where we've got 8 games left. We got to pare down who we trust, and we got to get the chemistry going with, the 3 or 4 that we trust the most and rotate all the snaps with those guys. I think that's something that they have to do going forward as well. Because you look at what I just based it off what I saw from the Kansas City Chiefs a year ago in their run to the Super Bowl. They went, hey, we've got Patrick Mahomes, and we trust Rashee Rice, Isaiah Pacheco, and Travis Kelce. We are going to feed those 3 guys the football, and they rode that to great offensive success in a championship. So who are the players you trust offensively? We know Josh Jacobs is one. I think Tucker Kraft should be the other. Who else should be getting fed the ball? Is it Jaden Reed? Is it Romeo Doubs? I think those questions need to be answered. We have to have more consistency. I think the way to get more consistency out of the wide receivers is just riding the guys you trust the most and having them on the field.
Yeah. That's well said.
And again, I think that...
Where is that line, Brian, where you're like, okay, we're going to spread around. We want to do these things. We want to get everybody involved. When you're there and you go, why don't we just let our best players play? And why don't we do what we do best instead of, I think we can they're giving us this short pass or they're giving us this. Why don't we, at what point do you guys in the game plan go, but we're better than that. Let's just go pound them, or let's just go throw it over their head, or whatever it is that you do best. The thing you get all the time, like you hear people say, basketball teams, they live and die by the 3. Okay, well, if that's what you do best, then live and die by it. If you're the fast break Lakers, you live and die by the Showtime fast break. If you have Hakeem Olajuwon, you live and die in the post. There's nothing wrong with that. We make it sound like it's bad. You live and die by the 3. Like at what point, Brian, do you go, this is what we do best. Just go do that.
Yeah, I always found that when you get into that situation, a little adversity in the season, right? Like I would always find we'd hit a little rough patch in the season, and as an offense, we would come together with, whether it was Coach McCarthy or the OC or an offensive meeting, and you always have a little come to Jesus meeting at some point when you hit a rough patch with the offense, and you have a little air it out session, so to speak. And, that's when that stuff gets hashed out. It just goes back to let's be who we are and let's do what we do best. And no, it's sometimes it's not what the defense is giving us, but we just need to go do it. Like we just need to take it, and let's trust Jordy Nelson running a deep post on a bootlegger. Let's just trust Devontae winning, against double coverage on, whatever route that he likes best. Like, let's just trust it. And that's kind of when you just have to rely on your star quarterback or your star running back or your star receivers to get the job done. And I think that's, to Gabe's point, like, we need to find the guys that we trust to consistently go out there and win, right? Like, to constantly always win their matchups, that they can always get the football, and we know they're going to get the job done. Because, like, we're getting to the point of the season, it doesn't really matter anymore, right? Like, we're trying to win football games to get into the playoffs and get something done. So, like, if your feelings are hurt because you're not getting this many touches, or you're not, like, hey, bud, like, I understand you want the ball more, win games right now, right? And at the end of the day, if you're not all win games, then, like, this squad isn't for you then. Not everyone can get the ball, and that's just the way it goes.
That's just the way it goes. All right, he's been waiting patiently. We get the Jason Wilde, the 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, on the other side for the Jason Wilde Hour. We'll play a little yes or no. We will have our injury report presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, and we all will learn a thing or two. I can promise you that as we roll on. It's Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey, riding with you every mile since 1977.
Swing into action to experience Sweetgrass and Sage Run in 2025. The Island Resort and Casino's stay-and-play packages are a hole-in-one. By blending award-winning golf with exceptional amenities, we've become the premier resort destination in the Midwest. But don't wait. These popular packages fill up fast. To book your 2025 golf getaway and secure your spot on the green, visit islandresortgolf.com today.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Nagging pain lasting for months, difficulty performing everyday tasks, not moving like you'd like, it's time to see the doctor. And I recommend Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Anytime I've needed care, the appointments are timely, no waiting weeks to be seen, and no pressure to have surgery. It's about getting the right diagnosis and choosing a treatment plan that fits your life. No question where I turn if I'm injured again. The experts in care at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's orthowisconsin.com.
Macy's Herald Square is the holiday destination, and this year we've added our first ever Macy's Holiday Square by Urban Space. Come and experience a one-of-a-kind wonderland of pop-up shops filled with unique gifts like handcrafted chocolates, homemade Strouf waffles, personalized ornaments, candles, and more. While you're there, shop Macy's exclusive collab with Disney for gifts you won't find anywhere else. It's Macy's Holiday Square by Urban Space, only at Macy's Herald Square on 34th and Broadway.
If fashion is your thing, eBay is it. eBay's where I find all my favorites, from handbags to iconic streetwear, all authenticated. For real. This time, a little Supreme, some Gucci. I even have that vintage Prada on my watch list. That's why eBay's my go-to for all my go-tos. Yeah, eBay, the place for new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. eBay, things people love.
Come to Kessler's and be greeted by an owner of the store.
We're America's largest employee-owned jewelry company.
Okay, but as a customer, what does that mean to me?
For one thing, it means you get to see every possible diamond choice.
Kessler's has diamonds from diamond mines and created diamonds from plasma chambers.
You can choose from 1,400 loose diamonds.
And every style of engagement ring ever designed.
Okay, I'm convinced.
And no other store can show you a Kessler 81.
With 81 facets instead of just 57, it wins the sparkle contest every time.
I'm convinced.
And no other store has the Kessler Princess Cut.
Or the exclusive Kessler's Emerald Cut or Kessler's Square Radiant Diamond.
I give up.
And when you want to tell her that you love her twice as much today as the day you married her.
Kessler's has big anniversary diamonds that can be twice as big as the one in her engagement ring.
Kessler's is unique in all the world.
So what do you say to all that, Sarah?
Welcome to Kessler's.
Craft your Brewers mini plan for the 2025 season, featuring all new 6-packs and 12-packs. Get in on the action with great ticket rates, marquee matchups, and priority seating. Plus, you'll get a limited edition Brewers Crowler with each 12-pack or pair of 6-packs. Looking to customize your games to fit your schedule? Build your own ticket plan options are also available. Pick the plan for you at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith here. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Party people!
It's time to get this tailgate started and get you ready for the green and gold game. This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Now broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Alongside Gabe Neitzel, ESPN legend John Anderson, and green and gold legend Ryan Bulaga. Here's Alex Strouf.
Yeah, the Jason Wilde Hour, Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel with you from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio, downtown Milwaukee. Packers legend Brian Bulaga, Green Bay native, ESPN legend John Anderson, and now the 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde, joins us from his. Are you wearing green and gold today? Is that Oregon green and yellow?
That's Oregon green and yellow.
Oh.
It's just a green and yellow shirt.
Oh, sure. Yep. And I just wore my Old Course hoodie because it was next up in the rotation.
You're wearing a Packers hat.
Yeah.
Also next up in the rotation.
Packers hoodie. You're getting that
Oregon's
for my shirt choice?
Aren't Oregon's colors black and white from last night? Something like that. I can't remember. Sometimes they wear pink.
Yeah, it depends on the day. Didn't care about that. Sydney had basketball games. Those were the games I cared about. Listen, it's first of all, I'm grateful to be with this panel because this is as good as it gets. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care who's got what pregame shows. This is as good as it gets. We could not ask for more. And I don't know why I have my own hour, because the two guys in the bottom left corner know a hell of a lot more than I do, and they do a hell of a job. Now, that's all that said, I'm sitting here listening to Anderson saying we need to get back to the Lombardi era while he's sitting on his mom's couch that she bought at Steinhafels during the Lombardi era.
I took my grandmother's plastic wrap off, though, because it was shining.
I'm listening to you guys talk about the commitment to the run game. I'll get to that in a second. And then I'm listening to Gabe, who we all know Gabe is a star, right? I mean, he's on ESPN nationally. He's so good at what he does. But this idea of committing to the guys you trust, I like the first two on his list, right? I trust Josh Jacobs, too.
Mm-hmm.
I trust Tucker Kraft, too. And I would say Jaden Reed is the other one I trust. 3, there used to be an old show when John and I were kids called 8 is Enough. 8 is too much if that's your offensive approach. You guys are right. But is there anyone you really trust beyond those 3? And if for some reason you're missing one of those 3, I like all of them. My issue is, do you trust Romeo Doubs? Because I thought I did, and then he didn't show up for work. And then he came back and was productive, and now has been quiet again. I thought I trusted Christian Watson, but Christian Watson either doesn't get a lot of opportunities or they don't trust him because he has not had an impact. I thought I trusted Dontavion Wicks, who's 3rd in targets on this team and worst in the league among guys with 25 targets in catch percentage.
Yeah,
so you tell me, Gabe, who else should I trust?
Well, I think they need to figure that out, Jason. That was the point I was trying to make. Is after Jacobs and Reed and Tucker Kraft, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's all they trust, and they divvy up the snaps however they divvy up the snaps. But I think the most important thing is to figure out who exactly they trust and then ride those players, because to me that's how you get to a point where you start playing the football we think this team is capable of, and then they're hot heading into the postseason.
Yeah, again, this is a team that is third in the league in rushing in yards per game and fifth in the league in rushing in yards per attempt. I think they have been committed to the run, and I think they have shown their trust in Josh Jacobs, except for in the 2 games that they've lost in the division where they dug a 28-0 hole in one of them and a 24-3 hole in the other. Like, I think you guys are right. I think when Brian's talking about the come to Jesus meetings that he used to have, hallelujah. I am curious if they said, look, we can run the football with this offensive line, which is also a great pass protecting group, but we got to commit to it. And we heard, how many times did you hear Mike McCarthy, Brian, during your career saying, we need to run the ball more. We need to run the ball more. But it's hard because
I think
it's more fun to throw the ball.
I think I heard it every other week as a fan. I can't imagine how much you heard it, Brian.
I mean, we would hear it, but we knew it wasn't going to happen. I hear you. I got you, but we know it ain't happening. So it is what it, but Jason, you're right. Like, this team, they especially up front, they can do both things well. They can pass block well and they run block well. It's just while Jordan Love is finding his footing, I think you need to rely on Josh Jacobs until Jordan Love gets in a better rhythm than what he's been in. And that's going to come with play action. And that's going to come with, being in manageable down and distances and not being in 3rd and 10 and having to force things downfield and just getting him in situations that he doesn't feel like he has to do everything. And that's kind of what we saw at the end of that first half against Detroit, right? Trying to do everything. And you throw a pick 6 and that's the ball game, essentially.
Yeah, I would just add this. I think I disagree with Gabe a little bit because I do think that they're getting everyone involved does work for them when they choose to do it and do it intelligently. I think this all comes down to one thing. I mean, this is a team that is 3rd in the league in total yards offensively. This is a team that is 9th in the league in scoring and sucks in the red zone. I mean, 29th out of 32 teams sucks. And has 18 red zone penalties on their offense. 18!
Is that a lot?
So when I just wanted to remind all of us, it's more than you would like.
Okay.
I just want to remind all of us that while it feels like their offense isn't clicking, because I think that's an accurate way to feel about it going into the bye and coming out of the bye, I think it all comes down to they don't score in the red zone and they screw up too much in the red zone. And that's the one path to victory that I see for the Bears today. Because guess where the Bears defense is ranked in red zone defense? 1st in the league. I can't believe the Bears are 1st in anything.
That's hard to believe.
And yet they're 1st in that department. So I think they solve a lot of their ills if they can just figure out when they get inside the 20-yard line how to put the ball in the end zone.
Hopefully today's that day.
Do you know who was assigned that project this week at home? The red zone offense. Do we know who got assigned that?
That is a callback to our previous conversation on the Homer Hour. Yeah, everybody got to work remotely. I'm guessing that Adam Stenovich led that charge. We spent some time talking to him about that on Thursday. I mean, look, again, I don't pretend to have all the answers, but that you can't have negative plays. This is going to be really good football insight. I was telling you about how great this show is. Here's some great football insight. Brian, you can confirm this because I know I'm going out on a limb here. You can't have negative plays, you can't have turnovers, and you can't have penalties in the red zone. That'll make you a bad red zone team.
It's very accurate. I mean, it's all very true. And like the worst thing, like, I mean, it kills you in the red zone. And like you mentioned it, it's penalties. Any penalty and it essentially just completely derails the drive. Like, it's hard to come back from a holding call or from a false start, or it's just really hard down there because there's already really no margin for error, right? Like, you're in a goal situation, or you're, or you back you out. Like, it's just really tough. So if they can clean that up, Jason, like you're right. Like, you'll see a much better operation, but they got to actually do it, because penalties has been another bad subject for this team in the first half of the season. Lots of penalties, sloppy play, and it needs to be cleaned up.
This is the perfect opportunity for the Packers to clean up some of those self-inflicted wounds. And we've seen plenty of them, as we keep talking about. But against a team that has looked completely anemic on both sides of the ball the last few weeks, this just serves as the best opportunity for a get-right game, and obviously your first win in NFC North play. So we will continue to discuss this. We've got the injury report presented by the Orthopedic Associates in Wisconsin coming up in about 8 minutes. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. Distilled 6 times till it's just right. Tito's is known for great vodka, giving back, and doing good for dogs. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly. Easy for me to say. Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel, Brian Bulaga, Jason Wilde, John Anderson, all hanging out with you on Green Bay Game Day during the Jason Wilde Hour. As I mentioned, injury report coming up next. We might get to some yes or no still ahead in the 10 o'clock hour as we continue to preview. Packers-Bears. Packers looking for their 11th straight victory against their rival Bears. Jason, very excited for yes or no, so I guess we have to play it at some point. More Green Bay Game Day coming up next.
We're back with Green Bay Game Day after this on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
Rake in a big win this November at Potawatomi. Go head-to-head in the Cash Clash game show for your share of $300,000 in cash and prizes. Just play with your rewards card for entries. Prize drawings on Thursdays. The Cash Clash game show at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Your win is waiting. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law offices make our community a better place.
They are the best. For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law offices.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta. Whether I'm headed to a big college football game or just need a reliable ride, I trust Accutrans Group. They're a veteran-owned business that delivers top-notch transportation, perfect for game day or any event. From tailgates to team outings to corporate travel and weddings, Accutrans has you covered. Booking is a breeze and their service is always safe and dependable. Visit AccuTransGroup.com to book your ride today. That's AccuTransGroup.com, your go-to for reliable transportation this football season.
True Chicago-style pizza is thin, crispy, and cut into squares. And thanks to Connie's Frozen Pizza, you can enjoy a true slice of the city. You'll enjoy it so much you won't even mind where it comes from. Connie's Frozen Pizzas are made from the same cornmeal crust Connie's has been serving for over 60 years. They're perfectly cheesy, perfectly saucy, and they're exactly what you crave. Get to know the true Chicago style with Connie's Frozen Pizza. Born in Chicago, loved by cheeseheads. Available in a freezer aisle near you.
Save big money on everything for your next project now at Menards. Upgrade your bathroom with Lions products. They offer showers, bathtubs, and surrounds that match your style and budget. Lions are known for durability and design. Their products feature an ultra-gloss finish that's scratch-resistant and easy to clean. Check out our entire selection of Lions bathroom products today on Menards.com. Plus, view the weekly flyer for other great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
For some children, a single surgery can turn an untreated cleft into a smile for life. But at Smile Train, we understand that most children need a little extra care. They need medical, dental, and emotional resources to grow healthy and strong, to express themselves clearly, and to navigate all of life's challenges so that their smiles light up the room as brightly as possible. Visit SmileTrain.org to learn how Smile Train is supporting the cleft community with lifelong smiles.
This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
She said, I keep on running, and nothing works. I can't get away from you.
Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel, John Anderson, Brian Bulaga, Jason Wilde hanging out with you, leading you up to kickoff at noon. Packers-Bears. Packers have won 10 in a row against Chicago. Matt LaFleur undefeated against the rival Bears. Packers 5-point favorites in this one. We'll get the injury report in just a couple of minutes, but before we go there, I do want to start here, Jason, with you. Jordan Love, I asked Rob, this is probably the healthiest he's been this season since the opener in Brazil against the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you expect that he could cut down on some of these turnovers due to being healthier, or is that purely decision-making by him? Is that all mental?
Well, Adam Stenavich was one of my colleagues tried to, about 3 different ways, get Adam Stenavich to blame the interceptions on his injuries. And again, I've said this to Brian. I've said it to Tausch, even though I hate praising him because then, but offensive linemen, they just can't help themselves. They are straight shooters. I cannot. I mean, we're so lucky to have Brian on our team, and Tausch. But they're honest, right? And Adam Stenavich is honest. Remember last year when we were asking about Josh Nijman versus Rasheed Walker for left tackle, and Stenavich just stands up there and got scolded by LaFleur subsequently for saying it, but saying, yeah, Josh, he didn't really rise to the occasion of competition, which is a pretty damning indictment. And he said it because it was true. And so Steno was having no part of the injuries have caused the interceptions narrative. So I don't know how that story was subsequently written, but if you wrote it the way that you think you were going into the story, you had to ignore what Adam Stenavich said. So what I would say, and how I do believe the injuries have impacted that, and Brian is a great example of this. Brian, the Packers were willing to put Brian Bulaga on the big Lamborghini Chad Clifton practice program. 2 ACLs. We need him on game day. We're not going to have him practice so he can save the wear and tear. And Brian wanted to practice because he needed to practice, because he believes in the value of practice. And I said this to Gabe during the week. I don't care if you're an NFL player or an 8th grade basketball player or volleyball player. Practice matters. And the issue with Jordan Love is not the actual injury, in my opinion. It's the amount of practice time he was missing. He didn't going into the Detroit game, and he admitted to me afterward that he forgot that he didn't practice because he was like, no, I've been practicing. I feel good. I feel physically. No, hey, you weren't practicing. You didn't practice on Wednesday before the Lions game at all. You did individual drills on Thursday. And Brian can tell you the Friday practice, while it's got red zone and it is important, is not the same as Wednesday and Thursday. And he was limited in that. So he clearly didn't take all the number 1 reps in the Friday practice before the Lions game. So you put all that together, you put him where he is now, where he was a full participant all week long and was off the injury report by the end of the week. He took every single offensive number 1 snap all week. That's where I would think it will impact him making better decisions.
Well said. Yeah, I'm intrigued by that. Brian, real quick before we get to the injury report, any response to Wilde?
100%. He's very spot on with it. Like, especially at the quarterback position, those reps are enormous. Like, it's the timing of it. I guess it's against the practice squad. I understand that, but you're seeing the pressures, you're making the adjustments, you're feeling the pass rush around you. You're able to make the adjustments at the line of scrimmage from run to, like, you're doing everything and you're getting a feel for it. Especially when you know your starting center's not going to play, then you're taking those reps with Elton at center and you're getting used to that relationship and how he's going to make ID. Like, there's a lot that goes into it than just like, oh, he took a couple snaps, he did individual. Well, that's okay, but it's not taking the reps during practice that you're seeing the opponent look. So he's spot on with it. Like, those reps matter. I mean, as much as people downplay it, they matter. I mean, especially at the quarterback position.
No doubt about that. Time now to look at the injury report. Today's injury report presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Visit orthowisconsin.com for more information. We go to Jason Wilde.
Well, I don't have the inactives yet, so do you
I blame
have them?
I blame the NFL. I see the Bears inactives. Tevin Jenkins will be out as expected. He was ruled out on Friday with an ankle injury. Montez Sweat will play for the Chicago Bears. That's what we have on the Bears side.
I've got the Packers inactives right now.
Go ahead.
So the list of inactives for the Packers include Robert Rochelle, Kitten Oladapo, Travis Glover, and Colby Wooden. Meaning,
wow,
both Evan Williams and Jair Alexander active today for the Green Bay Packers.
There you have it. Just a few minutes after 10:30 from the Green Bay Packers. Jair Alexander, good to go. Evan Williams, good to go. Your defensive backfield getting a huge boost. Both of those guys inactive, remember, against the Detroit Lions. So that is huge for the defensive backfield. Coming off of the bye healthy, that's huge news.
Are they good to go, or are they going to go?
Well, they're active.
Like, what is the level that they are capable? Like, if Jair Alexander had to have a workout this morning to see if he was good to go, is he good to go? Is he 75 or is he? I don't assume just because you say you can go that you might be 100%.
With Jair, John, I guess I think he's as close to 100%. He seems to be a guy that over the last couple of seasons and the injuries that he's had, unless he's really close to 100%,
he doesn't play.
It doesn't seem like he plays.
Okay, I want to text from all you guys the first time he goes in the blue tent.
Well, you've got our numbers, so feel free.
You've got my word, John. I will happily text you the first time. Hopefully he doesn't.
Hold up the blue tent.
Yeah, look at that. As for Evan Williams, though, I mean, it's been impressive how quickly he's inserted himself into the fabric of this Jeff Hafley defense. Here in his rookie year, Jason, you're wearing your Oregon colors. I was actually just watching a video of Evan Williams sacking Caleb Williams when Oregon and USC played last year. Sack fumble for Evan Williams on Caleb Williams last year, so hopefully he can repeat that today. But from your perspective, it's not often rookies implement themselves as such an important piece the way Evan Williams has here only halfway into his rookie season.
Yeah, I'd also like to ask David Bakhtiari to get after the Packers social media group since they didn't have the inactives posted when you went to me. That's on them, not on you. By the way, also just quickly with the inactives, Josh Myers is active, which I think we were all expecting throughout the week. But here's a guy that had started 45 consecutive games and then missed obviously the Lions game. So while he may not be the second coming of Corey Linsley or Mike Flanagan, he's a really important piece for them. Look, Evan Williams, I understand that this seems a little far-fetched, and I know our good buddy Jesse Nelson maybe didn't articulate his argument very well recently when he was trying to say that it was not great that a defense is so reliant on a rookie fourth-round pick. I would flip it to the other side and say you got such a valuable player in the fourth round out of Oregon that he is that important of a piece, because it does cause, Matt LaFleur likes to use the chain reaction. I use domino effect, whatever it is, you're moving pieces around then. And when you had to go against the Lions without both of those guys, that was obviously an issue. And again, I'm not saying that the Bears have a potent enough offense, even if you were missing those pieces, to win today. But having those pieces makes Caleb Williams' job that much harder today. The windows will not be as open as opposed to when you're having to play. And again, I don't like to pick on Eric Stokes, but he is a downgrade when he has to play significant snaps. So I think this is great news for them. To John's point, though, look, I have now lived through the hamstring arama that was Christian Watson, and Evan Williams felt the hamstring in Jacksonville before the game. Then he went out there and played anyway, and it became an issue. Didn't play against the Lions. So I always feel like that hamstring is like lurking in the dark corner waiting to spring up and bite you. So if he stays healthy today, that would be not only good news for today, but for moving forward.
Hamstring orama. Huh.
I like to think of it as a hamstring.
Palooza, would you prefer?
Well, they used to have the hamstring palooza. That's when they had the linebackers that constantly, right? Was it Clay Matthews?
Clay
that was
Matthews,
the hamstring palooza?
Nick Perry.
But what is it with Williams, Jason? What is it that makes him special? What is it that they've decided that he was a 4th-round pick by grade value, but as on the field value, he is significantly better than that?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring Brian into this conversation because Tausch just killed me for comping him to Micah Hyde, and they happen to wear the same number. And then the beautiful thing is Jair Alexander has compared him to Micah Hyde. Leroy Butler has compared him to Micah Hyde, and then Evan Williams told me that he used to watch tape of Micah Hyde with the Bills and patterned his game after him. So, bing. But Brian, you played with Micah, and I always thought the greatest praise that a player could get, and he was an Iowa guy, and I heard about Iowa guys all the time too, right? Because that's what Kirk Ferentz builds. Is he's just a football player. Like, I don't know if there's a better compliment for a player than he's just a football player. It sounds so simple, but it says so much. He's got a knack for being around the ball all the time. He always knows his assignment. He doesn't have MAs. He always knows the game plan and really sees the entire picture of the defense or of the offense. Those are all qualities that Micah had that I know these guys see in Evan Williams.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great compliment. I don't know if Tausch thought that was a slight at Evan Williams, but I mean, I think that's
he just thinks I compare everybody to everybody, and so Tucker Kraft is a lot like Chewy, and I will admit I'm a little bit guilty of that. I get it,
but no, you're trying to relate it for Packer fans to see, so people understand who they relate, are similar to. But I agree. I mean, I think that is a fantastic comparison because I think they do have very similar characteristics in how they play, and obviously they're different players, but there's similarities. And I think what I like, what Micah did, so Williams as well, they are around the ball all the time. You just kind of wherever the ball is or wherever it may, you just see their numbers there. And it's just if that's not by accident, it's because they study hard, they understand what team offenses are doing, and they're around the football. And when you have guys like that, that is so valuable because what we saw last year from Green Bay is there'd be wide receivers in open space with nobody around them for 5 yards. And you're like, where is everybody? Why is there nobody around this wide receiver in the middle of the field? And now you have guys like McKinney and Williams that the receiver touches the ball and there's someone on him instantly. And that is that's stuff that, you can coach it, but guys have to know what they're doing and have to understand the assignment, and they do. And I think that's a great comp. And with those two guys, man, special secondary, right? And you keep Jair healthy. And I understand that it's been tougher. I mean, right? He's had some injuries pop up, but I was fortunate enough to play with him, and I understand how talented he is. And I've saw him from me to obviously when I left, and now I get to watch him, from a distance now, and he is so talented. And if he can stay healthy and just continue to perform, not even at like an all-pro level, but just at like a normal Jair level, like you're getting a lockdown corner. But it's just keeping him healthy, and that, I guess, like I said, is easier said than done at this point. But if he's playing, that means he's about as close to 100 as he feels he can get. That is a positive sign.
The good news for the Green Bay Packers, everybody's healthy pretty much. Jordan Love, obviously, back to good health. Josh Myers is in. Evan Williams is in. Jair Alexander is in for the Green Bay Packers, less than 90 minutes away from kickoff in Chicago against the rival Bears. Coming up next on Green Bay Game Day, John Anderson and Jason Wilde get the shine. It's time to play Yes or No with Jason Wilde. Coming up next, Green Bay Game Day.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Day will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
The daily grind can leave your car looking like it's been through overtime. But at Tsunami Express Car Wash, they'll help you tackle the dirt and grime. Step onto the field with their Tsunami Clean Tech Tunnel. It treats, cleans, protects, and dries your car, delivering an MVP shine every time. And with their 7th site now open in Midtown Milwaukee, Tsunami Express is making it even easier to score big across Wisconsin. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Get your first wash free when you sign up online at TsunamiExpress.com.
Another MVP has joined the roster at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Dr. Ryan Stefanchek. Board certified in sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation, Dr. Stefanchek specializes in non-operative treatment of the spine, chronic pain, all joints, all musculoskeletal problems, and more, emphasizing holistic care first, with a focus on diet, sleep, stress management, and social connections for a patient's well-being. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
The holiday season officially begins at your local Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis Auto Group dealerships with our exclusive Black Friday all month long sales event. Huge Black Friday all month long savings and discounts on America's best-selling brands from both Buick and GMC at nearby Kunis locations in Oak Creek and Greenfield. All remaining new 2024 vehicles are now Black Friday all month long blowout priced. Kunis has the area's biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, with many Black Friday all month long priced below $5,000 and payments as low as $149 per month. Additionally, with any new or pre-owned purchase in November, you'll get our exclusive No Fear lifetime warranty at absolutely no extra charge. Plus, we're paying above top Kelley Blue Book values on all trades in November, no matter the mileage or condition. The holiday season officially begins with exclusive November Black Friday all month long savings. Only at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis Auto Group dealerships. Shop online at KunisBlackFriday.com. Ho, ho, ho!
Kyle Walls here from ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Bruston Norman, and you know I'm watching every snap this football season with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app in hand. With over 5 million people playing and $2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in. Make a play with just $1 or go big. Play their pick'em game, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Underdog has all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. You make picks for a pick'em entry and choose if players will go higher or lower when it comes to their stats. Maybe it's Jordan Love higher than 250 passing yards, or even Travis Kelce under 1.5 touchdowns. You can even win when you lose with Underdog's double flex option. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com, sign up using promo code KBN, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code KBN, and join me and millions of others and win big. Must be 18 plus and present in state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org.
Black men are the most likely Americans to die from lung cancer, and black people develop the disease earlier in life than others. Federal guidelines have nearly doubled the number of black Americans eligible for lung cancer screening. Insurance companies are required to cover these tests for those ages 50 to 80 who smoke or used to smoke. If that's you, talk to a doctor about lung cancer screening. For more information and to find a screening center near you, Visit acr.org/mylcs. That's acr.org/mylcs.
Welcome back to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
The show goes on. That show, Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel, Jason Wilde, John Anderson, Brian Bulaga. Hanging out with you on ESPN Wisconsin, 620 WTMJ. You can watch us, too, ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison on YouTube, over 300 with you rocking with us that way. And it is the time everybody waits for. It's the highlight of the show, according to John Anderson. It's the highlight of his week, according to Jason Wilde. It's time now to play Yes or No with Jason Wilde.
Will today be the day there are black and white answers from our most respected journalist?
Possibly. I think we shouldn't be greedy. Maybe. You would certainly hope so.
It's time for Yes or No with Jason Wilde.
Yes or no, John Anderson, you texted me this week saying, hey, Strouf, I just can't wait to play Yes or No with Jason Wilde this week. Yes or no, you texted me that.
Right. I will never, that will never have been texted from me. That must be from an address or some number that is not mine.
Yeah.
Junk, whatever. No.
Yeah, I made that up for the record. Yeah, that was made up.
Listen, I'm a Wilde-phile or a Wildiac or whatever the term would be.
A Wildiac?
I don't know.
I like that.
You can't, Taylor Swift has Swifties, but you can't have Wildies. That's the guy's name. But so, I know, whatever.
Yeah, those are his kids are Wildies. Yeah, you are not, however. You are Wildiac. I like that. All right, let's start with this, fellas. Picture circling all over social media of Tom Brady, who's on the call today for Fox, talking pregame at length with Caleb Williams. My first one for you, Jason, is yes or no, it is legal for Tom Brady to give Caleb Williams advice on quarterbacking.
I don't know. And that's not me being a smartass about yes or no. I really don't know. And look, I don't want to use up our time talking about the decisions that NFL TV partners have made, but to pay a guy $300 million to not be able to go to production meetings and all the other stuff, I don't understand that at all. Okay, I don't get it. But here's what I would say. I hope that Tom Brady does spend time talking to Caleb Williams. And I hope he went to the other side of the field and spent some time talking with Jordan Love, too. He's the GOAT. So if you have an opportunity to pick his brain, I hope he offers up those opportunities to all kinds of young quarterbacks, because we need more of that in our game.
Well said. I will change the question for the remainder of the panel, as the Bears obviously firing their offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, earlier in the week. John, I'll start with you. Yes or no, the Bears offense will actually look competent this week?
I want to know why I didn't get to talk about the GLA. That's my favorite guy ever.
The GLA, the greatest living American, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the GLA? Go for it.
No, that's fine. I just know that I should always be allowed to talk to the GLA. Is this the week? I don't know. How can you tell if the Bears' offense is right?
I just said competent. I didn't say right. I said competent.
Yes, they'll be competent. Listen, this is a team that, and this is to me based fully on Eberflus again, who I kind of like, and I know a little bit. The fact that they have been beaten by the Redskins 3 weeks in a row now is the issue. When are they finally going to get over the Hail Mary? It's done. And I don't know, Brian, I've never had to flush a loss like that. Missouri lost painfully yesterday, and I'm going to be mad for the rest of my life. So I don't know how you're going to work the next day on that. But I really do feel like that they have not recovered from that. And the the Commanders Washington's beaten them three straight weeks. And it's when are you going to flush that and get out of it? And then they might be competent to win another game. But right now they haven't shown that. They fire guys, and they're like, how about you get over the last one before you try to fix these other problems?
That is a good point for Bulaga, because he referenced earlier the Hail Mary game, the inter-touchdownception game. I mean, that messes with you, man. And we see how that Hail Mary has messed with the Bears. How do you shake that?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that they had a player taunting the crowd.
Tyreek Stevenson, yeah.
Yeah, but before the ball is
whoops,
that's not a great look. But I don't. John's right. They haven't gotten over that. But to kind of to Jason's point, like, I don't think Tom Brady talking to Caleb Williams is going to do anything for Caleb Williams today. So whether it's legal or not, like, it's not going to do – it's going to do absolutely nothing. So, sure, I mean, I hope Tom goes into the locker room with them and has a discussion. Like, it's not going to help them for the game. So, to me, it's irrelevant. But I would hope that, he went and spent some time with Jordan, too. I mean, it's cool to talk to one of the greatest to ever do it, so that would be nice. But regardless to the fact, like, Tom Brady talking to a guy a few hours before the game is not going to make him play better. So that's my 2 cents.
As far as the Bears, go ahead, Jason.
Sorry, Gabe. I just got to jump in here because last year when Josh Myers' game improved significantly down the stretch, coincidence? Maybe, but it happened after Brian Bulaga went and addressed the team and talked to them at practice. So let's not underestimate having great players talk to you, having an impact in your performance.
Great point.
That was on a Friday. That was on a Friday, not 2 hours before a game. That was on a Friday. They had time to soak that message in. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't 2 hours before.
You've never gotten a really good tip on the driving range that suddenly you went, oh wait, that's the magic move. Perfect. That's what I need. Just before I tip off. Just before I tee off on one. Hey, maybe if you switch your grip, you'll be good.
Normally what happens when that is the first tee ball's a shank. And that's what normally happens when you try to make an adjustment. Right before tee time, it's a shank off a wall.
Yeah, right into the woods. Final word on this, Gabe Neitzel.
I should have been overlapping. I can't believe I'm interlocking. That is so tough. Thank God you told me that right before we got to the tee.
Maybe go to the baseball grip on the third hole. See if that helps you out at all. As far as the Bears' offense today, I think that they are going to be a little more competent just because I think they're going to commit themselves to the run. We were talking about that with the Packers. They need to do that a little bit more. The Packers, shockingly, just like every other part of this team, inconsistent stopping the run. They're 5th in the league in runs of 0 yards or less. So they've been good at stuffing runs, but they're 3rd in the league in allowing, 10 runs of 10 yards or more. So it's a lot of boom or bust against the Packers in terms of the run game, and I think they're going to give DeAndre Swift a lot of opportunities to hit that boom.
No doubt about that. Last one for you fellas in our quick version of Yes or No with Jason Wilde before we get to his final thoughts on the other side. We go to the other quarterback, Packers quarterback Jordan Love. He's played in 6.5 games this season. He has thrown an interception in every single one. All 7 games he's appeared in, he has thrown an interception. Yes or no, Jason Wilde, this is finally the game. Jordan Love goes interception-less.
Yeah, that's hard to predict, especially considering that one of the few things that the Bears do okay is take the ball away and defend the pass. They're terrible against the run. So to go back to where we began with getting the ball to Josh Jacobs and doing what you do well, like running the Lombardi sweep, etc. I don't know what they'll ask Jordan Love to do today, but I am very curious. It's one of the things that I'm super curious about today is, does he do more of what John Anderson suggested was not a good idea, which is take what the defense gives you? Is he going to check the ball down? Because here's why, and it ties into something Gabe said earlier. 2 of the guys that you can get the ball to, if you do check it down and don't chuck it from the cheap seats, are 2 of the guys that you trust. Tucker Kraft, Josh Jacobs. And so how many risks is he going to take? That is what's going to decide whether or not he throws another interception. But again, Tausch plays Prize Picks all the time. I do not have an account there. But if they put the projection at 0.5 interceptions today for Jordan Love, I would still take more because he has to prove to me that he's going to go through a game without throwing a pick.
John Anderson.
Yeah, no one knows the answer to this. So who? But I will say that I'm going to go like Crash Davis. The player on the streak respects the streak. So until it's over, I'm not going to be the one that ends it. I'll let him end it, and then I'll decide what happens. That is not me. What I'd like to have happen, what might happen, are 2 different deals. So I don't see that. And Jason, I'm not against taking what the defense gives you. I'm just saying at times you need to impose your will on people. That's all.
I agree.
Just like you guys impose your will on this game.
Yes, exactly like that.
Yeah, the next couple road games, I think me, Gabe, and Brian are just going to do this segment. We'll give John and Jason the segment off, despite it being called
the highlight of the segment.
Despite it being called yes or no with Jason Wilde.
We were quoted as saying that.
Yeah, maybe misquoted, but yeah, you were certainly
just
quoted.
Be talking about the GLA and the BHA.
BHA. I know
In the
GLA.
draft, you don't know the BHA? BHA, best Hawkeye available. That's usually on your draft board. Just take the BHA. Take the best Hawkeye available.
A smart approach.
Worked out okay for the Packers. Yeah. Worked out all right. Yeah. Best BHA was Brian Bulaga in 2010. Yeah, true. Abdul Hodge. First time I've heard that name in a long time. All right, I'm done playing this game. Gabe, you have any thoughts?
No. I think Jason and John were fantastic. Those are my thoughts.
Is that Gabe who was at the old course?
Yeah,
okay.
Broadcasting school. Nope.
Thank goodness we get rid of Jason Wilde after the next segment. It's Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Green and gold fans, it's game day. And you know what that means. Tailgating with friends and raising a glass to our favorite team. This season, make Bacardi the star of your pregame party. Whether you're mixing up a classic Bacardi and cola, refreshing Bacardi lime and soda, or a smooth spiced and cola, Bacardi is the perfect pick for game day fun. Grab a bottle and get ready to cheer on Green Bay with the best in hand. Available now at your local retailer. Live passionately, drink responsibly. Bacardi USA, Miami, Florida. Rum 40% alcohol by volume.
Swing into action to experience Sweetgrass and Sage Run in 2025. The Island Resort and Casino stay and play packages are a hole-in-one. By blending award-winning golf with exceptional amenities, we've become the premier resort destination in the Midwest. But don't wait. These popular packages fill up fast. To book your 2025 golf getaway and secure your spot on the green, visit islandresortgolf.com today.
Have you seen them yet?
Seen what?
4 different ways to say I love you.
I'd love to see those. Show me the list.
What list?
The list of 4 different ways to say I love you.
Let's start over.
Where are you going, Monica?
I'm going to get the 4 different ways to say I love you.
Sarah, imagine a box of assorted chocolates.
Okay.
When you open the lid, what do you see?
I see a guy sitting on a park bench saying, "Life is like a box of chocolates."
But what are the shapes of the chocolates?
There are 4 different shapes.
Here they are.
Those are gorgeous.
4 diamond pendants covered in diamonds.
Almost like they were dipped in diamonds.
And each diamond was created inside a miniature star.
But you'd have to be rich to afford one of these.
Choose the diamond pendant you like best. $148.
I love Kessler's.
Everyone loves Kessler's.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Had a devastating knee injury, tore my ACL, tore my PCL, shredded my medial meniscus, and had an initial surgery. That really didn't hold. Had another follow-up surgery around 8 years later. That didn't work, and I didn't want to undergo another surgical procedure.
Enough with the surgeries. They didn't ease the pain, and recovery was brutal. Carmen heard about another treatment for pain relief, the non-invasive regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
I simply figured, heck, I'm going to pick up the phone and call QC Kinetics, and since I've been treated, my quality of life has dramatically gotten better, and I can't thank QC Kinetics enough.
These are the nation's leaders in regenerative medicine. QC Kinetics uses the body's own healing components to help provide relief and functionality.
10 months ago, I had difficulty walking up and down a flight of steps. Now I can do just about anything I desire. I'm back to the old me.
If you have joint pain, before you consider surgery, call QC Kinetics. The consultation is free.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this fall? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
I ain't joking, do it sound like I'm kidding. I've been making like 2,000.
Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel, John Anderson, former Packer Brian Bulaga, and the 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde, hanging out with us for a few more minutes ahead of Packers-Bears, under an hour away from kickoff. Now, in the oldest rivalry in the NFL, Packers have won 10 in a row, all under head coach Matt LaFleur. He is 10-0 against the Bears in his career as the head coach of the Packers. Jordan Love, of course, 2-0 when he starts against the Bears. 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions last year against the Bears. So maybe that gives you some faith, John Anderson. No interception today from Jordan Love. He's never thrown an INT against the Bears.
Well, I mean, he's played them how many times?
Twice.
Okay, so I'm not sure that we can really.
Well, history tends to repeat itself, right? Especially in the NFL, nothing ever changes.
This is when you worried about how many interceptions a guy's throwing when you're grasping at straws on that kind of a limited background worth of.
I am worried
that sort of thing.
But if he doesn't throw an interception today, we were talking earlier about the defensive line, and if they have 8 sacks, you're still not going to feel better about the defensive line because it's a consistency thing with them, and the Bears' offensive line is terrible. But on the flip side of that, because the Bears have been good at having takeaways, 6th in the league in takeaways, if Jordan Love avoids the mistake today, I think that's something that he can start to build on for the final part of the season.
Right, and I anticipate he would. But what if it goes at the end of half and they go, they throw the Hail Mary, right? All we keep talking about is Goff threw 5 interceptions. Well, he threw 4, and then he just chucked one up there. Like, 4 is not great.
If you want to say he only threw 4, that's still a lot.
But not the same. But, some of that's just, it's not. Although Aaron Rodgers never throws interceptions as Hail Marys. He just throws touchdown passes, which is really crazy how he managed to do that. But, I don't know that just like not throwing 2 in a game against the Bears, I don't necessarily feel is a huge trend. Also, going one whole game without an interception, I don't know. That gets you pointed to the right spot, but I don't really know that carries on very far.
No, it doesn't.
Good for you. I get it. Your Packer homerness is showing. Will it into existence if you can. Talk it in. I love it.
I'm trying. I believe in manifestation, just like the former quarterback. So that is what I'm doing here with the Jordan Love INTs. But I am worried. It's only been a backbreaker in that game against Detroit, but he's thrown 10 interceptions this year.
He was a backbreaker against Minnesota.
Oh, true. Yeah, he threw 3 against them. So obviously that played into effect as well. Good point there. All right, Jason Wilde with the side eye. We go to you. Final thoughts ahead of Packers Bears.
Do I have to answer? Do I have to ask you the question? Are you even talking to Strouf after last segment?
Who? I mean,
exactly.
I appreciate you throwing to me after saying that you're glad that I'm leaving. By the way, congratulations to Lance Leipold. By the way, huge win for the Kansas Jayhawks. I did not stay up for the entirety of that game, but knocking off the BYU Cougars, previously unbeaten. The pride of UW Whitewater. Congrats to him. Look.
No.
We can talk Missouri football instead if you would prefer.
That was bad too, but you had the nerve to compliment KU, and I'm on this call is really offensive.
Okay, so he is now 2 people on this panel now want Jason to leave.
Great opportunity for me to say something bad about Bulaga and about Gabe on my way out the door, and then I won't be invited back. I've got next weekend off. Look, this to me, and I felt this way going into last night. Sydney had a couple of basketball games yesterday, so I didn't get home until it was halftime of the Wisconsin-Oregon game. I wasn't surprised at all that it was close. That just felt like one of those games where the odds makers did not create a large point spread in the game between the two teams. It felt like the Badgers could muck it up a little bit and make it difficult on Dylan Gabriel, and they did, right? And this feels to me like a game where the Packers should win easily, so they're not going to. Now, in 4 hours, I could be on Green Bay game night, and they won 38-10, and you could come back and join that conversation, Alex, and say, yeah, this is why I wanted Wilde to be off the show. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. But it just feels like one of those games that's going to be closer than it should be. And I do think that, I don't know how Thomas Brown, who apparently Caleb Williams had barely talked to before this week, is going to change their offense. But I do believe that change does lead to a bump in energy. And if you had a bunch of disgruntled offensive players, they're a little more gruntled, if that's a word, now this week.
Sure.
So I think this is going to be closer than we anticipate, but I'm going to go back to the homer line. I've been using it all season. If you are the team that you think you are, you do not lose to the Bears. I don't care if you are playing on the beach or in Lincoln Park. You need to win this game, and if it's ugly, so be it. But you're 0-2 in the division. And you go and lose to a team that you've beat 10 times in a row, and we're all going to be spending next week going into a 49ers game going, what the hell is wrong with these guys? So this is a big one. I don't want to call it a must-win, but if you are who you think you are, you can't let them off the hook.
It's a must-win if you want to stay in the NFC North race. You can't be 0-3 in the division. Before I let you go, Jason, because I think that's an interesting thought, and I've read a lot of texts.
You let me go like 10 minutes ago.
I want one more thought from you, because I've seen a lot of texts and comments this week saying the Packers, quote-unquote, play down to their competition, right? Think about the Jacksonville game, which I know Malik Willis had to finish out. Think about the L.A. Rams game, who were really beat up at the time. Do you think that's a fair knock on the Packers? They played down to their competition this season?
You know, I'm looking at their results through 9 games, and they played Indianapolis and Tennessee without Love, right? So did they play down to those two teams' level of competition, or did they just play the way they would with a backup quarterback? I'm taking a lot of heat on our show for saying Arizona stinks, and now they're winning their division, and they haven't lost since the Packers beat them. I still think they stink, and the Packers didn't play down to their level.
No, they did not.
I just think there's been a bunch of. Go ahead, Gabe.
I was just gonna say, playing down to your competition implies that you then play up to your competition as well. Like, okay, that means you're up at a certain level, and the teams that are up at a different level than the Packers, we're beating them 28-0 at home and 24-3 at home. So I don't think they've played down to their competition. I think that's just part of who they were in the first half.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
There you go.
I'm glad I didn't have to.
There you go.
I'm leaving now because you don't want me here.
That's not true.
I have one more thing.
Here we go.
Jason.
I was really hoping you and Bulaga each had one more thing. That would have been fun. Jason Wilde, 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, co-host Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. You read him in the Wisconsin State Journal. You hear him across all of our shows on ESPN Wisconsin, including Green Bay Game Night immediately after the game. Jason, appreciate the time as always, brother.
I am going to. That's pretty bold to call me brother. I'm going to wave.
Oh, he's actually mad at me.
Instead of going with a different finger gesture to say goodbye to you. So thanks for having me. Bye.
Take care. Be good. It's Jason Wilde. You can hear him after the game with Homer, Tausch, and Gary Ellerson. The third hour, 10 minutes late, starts in a few minutes on Green Bay Game Day as we lead you up to kickoff. Packers, Bears, Brian Bulaga, John Anderson, Gabe Neitzel, Alex Strouf with you right here on ESPN Wisconsin, 620 WTMJ.
We're back with Green Bay Game Day after this on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey, riding with you every mile since 1977.
Get ready for the moment we've all been waiting for. It's the 300K season finale giveaway at Potawatomi. Friday, December 20th, watch your entries from Bird Bash, Cash Clash, and Winter's Dash. All pile into one massive drawing for a chance at up to 50 grand cash. Be there to win your share. December 20th, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/finale. Must be 21 years old to play.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats.
And free groceries.
Okay, just calm down. We'll get to that later.
Stay tuned in right here to score free groceries.
Stop, please.
Okay, I'm shutting up. My lip is zipped.
Anyway, let's get to this week's specials at Century Foods. Now through Wednesday, save on 5 to 8 ounce selected varieties Sargento shredded cheese, 2 for $6. 45 ounce selected varieties Country Crock, $5.49. 12 ounce selected varieties Cremette egg noodles, 2 for $4. 10 to 54 count selected varieties Hefty plates, bowls, or bags, 2 for $4.
And now time for the big reveal. Free groceries.
That's too over the top. Try this. Win free groceries from Century Foods.
With free groceries from Century Foods.
Forget it. I'll handle the rest. Enter to win $500 worth of free groceries on Century's Facebook or Instagram by January 8th.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
You've probably heard about employee stock ownership plans before, but what separates Fifth Third Bank from others when it comes to these plans? A succession plan that benefits business owners and employees. From full and partial sales, second stage transactions, repurchase obligation financing, and seller note refinancing, ESOPs can offer tax advantages, increased liquidity, employee incentives, and overall diversification of net worth to help your company plan for the future. Fifth Third Bank, National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Party people!
It's time to get this tailgate started and get you ready for the green and gold game. This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Now broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Alongside Gabe Neitzel, ESPN legend John Anderson, and green and gold legend Brian Bulaga. Here's Alex Strouf.
4 wide for our final 45 minutes. Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel, John Anderson, Packers legend Brian Bulaga hanging out with you ahead of Packers-Bears. Brian Bulaga, was this the game that you got most up for in the regular season, or games, I guess, since you play them twice a year? Was it always the Bears, or was it every divisional game? Was there extra energy, extra juice for these matchups for you?
Not really like it was the Bears or it was the Vikings or it was like it was never really like there wasn't more to. I mean, the only reason why there was like more importance on them because they were divisional games. Like, and I know I sound like a broken record there, but like the most important thing always was when it was McCarthy and even when it was LaFleur for the 1 year for me, it was always about the division, like taking care of the division games and winning as many of those as you possibly can. Because like obviously when it was a 16 game schedule, you win 6 of those, you set yourself up really nicely to win 4 or 5 more out of the rest of them, and you're in a good position for the playoffs. Or you win 4 of them, and it just sets everything up for you very nicely. And with tiebreakers and all that, it's good. But throughout my time, like we had bigger, the Vikings, because they were big chunk of time there, always, more of a rival game. They popped up, kind of my midway through being in Green Bay as a team that got good and they had some good players and it became a little more of a challenge. But you look at outside that, I mean, Seattle, for a long time, we were battling with them. San Francisco, still to today, battling with them. So teams have popped up, and now obviously with the Lions being who they are, things have changed. And it's always changing in the NFL of who's your rival and what games carry more juice to them. But division games always carry a little more energy to them.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think for us as fans, Gabe, John, right? Like,
yeah, the fans, it doesn't matter to the fans. The fans are like the Bears big, right? Like you want to get everybody in Green Bay riled up, make the Bear home game a Milwaukee crowd. Oh wait, they did that. But you want to send people over the edge, like that's the one, So I get that's how I totally understand the player perspective of that, even though I'm not a player, but I get Brian's point 100%. But the dude in the stands does not care about it. Dude in the stands was like, no, we want these people. They're, they're ready for Red Grange to come play.
It's funny to me, John, because if you were to ask the other 3 teams in the division who their biggest rival is, they might all say the Packers. I think everybody else says the Packers, because, they've been so dominant in the division for so long. And for Packers fans, even though the Packers have dominated the Bears, like for me, I still get up most as a fan, even though the Bears have stunk. I get up for this game more than any other regular season game because Packers-Bears, just growing up, it's been ingrained in me. It just always has meant more.
They got a whole song about them.
Yep. Yeah, we don't have a song about the Vikings or Lions.
No, we do not. No. And the nice part about this one, and I haven't gauged Brian or John, and that's a mistake by me as the host of the show. 2 hours and 18 minutes in, but yeah, thank you, John. Appreciate the pep talk. Tom Brady, Caleb Williams style. You're the Tom Brady. I'm the Caleb Williams in this scenario. Where are you at? Because I don't really feel any nerves for this one. This feels like a stress-free game for me because the Bears are in such utter disarray going into this game. I know it's a divisional game. I know it'll probably be a little bit closer than I expect, but I just don't see a scenario in which the Packers come out with a loss of this one here in Week 11. John, where are you at?
The first stress-free football game that I have will be, or the next one will be the first. I've never had that. I worry like crazy constantly. Teams 0-10, I'm like, of course, now they're due. I see gloom and doom around the corner all the time with my team, only because that happens, I mean, and I'm still reeling from last night with Missouri when they take the lead and there's a $1:10 left. I'm like, crap, it's in the hands of our defense. Like, I've just had too many painful losses. I saw too many tough Packer games that were lost. So that's just me. Every game to me is I am walking on the cliff, holding a kite after having drank 7 beers. I'm always on the edge. I'm always on the edge.
Amazing. Brian, where are you at entering this one for Packers Bears? Where's the stress level at, if you will?
I don't have a bunch of stress in it, but I think it's foolish to think that they can't lose the game. Like, I think there's a way that the Bears can win. I mean, it's the NFL. I mean, they're professionals. They got embarrassed last week. There's certainly a way that Green Bay can go in there and lose the football game. I mean, it happens all the time in the NFL that good teams go play bad teams and they lose. So, as rare as it may be, things happen. And you know, we've seen a pattern, unfortunately, on offense that we're turning it over a little bit too much. And if you do that inside our own half, right, you give it back to the Bears inside the 50 and give them short fields and don't make them earn it, bad things happen. And John said it earlier in the program. If it looks like Jacksonville, you don't love it. Because that gives the Bears life. So let's hope that things have been cleaned up during the bye week. Do I feel like Green Bay's going to win this game? Absolutely. But there is a way that Chicago can win. There's always a way. But I think Green Bay's going to have to play an awfully bad game for that to happen.
Yeah, I totally agree. It'd have to be really bad because the Bears, as I just mentioned, are a complete dumpster fire, and that might be a compliment to a dumpster fire where the Bears are at.
Listen, if they win that game, and they should have with Washington, with the Commanders, how different is this conversation? You know,
Shane Waldron is probably still employed, right? I'm not even joking when I say that.
I don't know. I see, and I think you should have fired him anyway. I don't remember. Right before that, they had a chance to take the lead, and they were on the tour or whatever, and he handed it off to a guard. Like, how about you just score?
I forgot about that.
I also forgot about that.
Right? That gets lost in the whole thing, and then somehow they get the ball back, and Williams does manage to get the touchdown. But before that, they've struggled all game. They're inside of 2 minutes or whatever. They got a chance to win the game, and they handed it to a guard. So I don't know that guy has the job for long anyway, if you're going to keep handing it to a guard.
It's a fair point.
But, when they went into that, and the Commanders are pretty good, they've shown that. And so I think you have a whole different conversation. So that's a little like if they are a little bit of what they were before that game, if they finally shake this kind of Hail Mary hangover, then I think they could be, a sack of trouble.
It's a good point. But let the hangover persist as the Packers hopefully take care of business at Soldier Field in just over half an hour. Have another. Make it 4 in a row. Game nights, Alex Strouf, John Anderson, Brian Bulaga with you. And coming up next, we take a look at our best bets, which are presented by the Island Resort and Casino. This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Nagging pain lasting for months, difficulty performing everyday tasks, not moving like you'd like, it's time to see the doctor. And I recommend Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Anytime I've needed care, the appointments are timely, no waiting weeks to be seen, and no pressure to have surgery. It's about getting the right diagnosis and choosing a treatment plan that fits your life. No question where I turn if I'm injured again. The experts in care at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's orthowisconsin.com.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's. Flavor is our family's business.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at Right Choice Tax Resolution Services. We have recently talked with a number of new clients who told us the same story. They had a tax situation and went with one of those national firms with the TV and radio ads. You know the ones. They guarantee they can settle your tax owed for pennies on the dollar. They take a $10,000 fee up front, and then you never hear from them again. We are a local firm and just want to help you resolve your situation so you can get on with your life. Don't let your bank account get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security check get garnished, or a lien put on your house so you can't sell it or get refinanced. The state can even put a hold on your occupational license. What happens when the hospital finds out your nursing license is suspended or you can't sell insurance anymore? Make the right choice and call 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us today. Schedule a free meeting so we can talk and come up with a solution to solve your situation now. If you wait, it will not go away. The first meeting is free. Call now, 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it, I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for free when you mention ESPN and purchase at $2,000 of in-stock jewelry? You'll receive a free pair of 2-carat total weight diamond studs. Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield or in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Spend at least $2,000 on in-stock jewelry and you get 2-carat diamond studs free. As long as you mention ESPN, your visit will be worth it, and she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. Robert Hack Diamonds, RobertHackDiamonds.com, RobertHackDiamonds.com. Visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
For general contest rules, visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com.
Right now, more than 100,000 children waiting in foster care need our help. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is focused on finding them safe, permanent homes. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Let's go! Green Bay Game Day, just over a half an hour away from kickoff. Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears down in Chicago. Packers 6-3, Bears 4-5 entering this Week 11 matchup. Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel, John Anderson, Packers legend Brian Bulaga hanging out with you. It is time now to look at some of our best bets, which are presented by the Island Resort and Casino. The Island Resort and Casino is a premier resort destination, the largest north of Milwaukee. With everything you like to do in one awesome location, visit islandresortandcasino.com and book your total experience today. Let's start with the quarterback, Jordan Love. I keep mentioning this because I think it is important to outline. Probably the healthiest he's been all season since week 1 here, coming off the bye. Obviously dealt with the sprained MCL at the beginning of the season, then dealt with everything else, it felt like, obviously leading to where we are now. But it seems like he's all good. So Jordan Love, 229.5 passing yards is the prop on Jordan Love today. 229.5. We start with you, Gabe Neitzel.
I'm going to go under there. I think that, it's going to be a shorter, controlled passing game. I do feel like they are going to run the football because the Bears can take it away, and they have really just struggled stopping the run. I think it's going to be a big game, not just for Josh Jacobs, but for the other running backs. Everyone's going to get opportunities to get touches. That's going to cut into the opportunities for J. Love. I'll take the under.
John Anderson.
Number seems high, doesn't it?
Yeah, about 230.
It seems high, so I'm trying to think what they know that we don't know. Which is, by the way, they always know what we don't know.
They always know, yes.
Yeah. But I don't think they need over if they do this correctly.
I would agree.
Although, I'm worried about Love in that you mentioned we have the sprain and then we have the groin, which means he's due to kind of hit his hand on someone's helmet, and then we're going to have to deal with a thumb contusion or a broken wrist. It just seems to go that way.
Don't even say that.
I think I'm going to go under because, like I said, I don't think they need the over. And so I would hope that they're coaching to the under on that, and whatever Josh Jacobs' number is we could go over on that.
Yeah, we're going to get to the Jacobs number next. We'll go to Brian Bulaga last on the Jordan Love number, 229.5, Blue.
That's yards, right? Not picks?
Yeah.
Yes, that is yards.
Okay.
Either way, I'm taking the under.
Brian Bulaga. Oh, I think you're muted, brother. I think you're still muted from the break, maybe.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now
I
I'm
got you.
good. Yeah, I'm going to go under. I just think that there's absolutely no need to try to throw the ball that much. There's just no need. So, like we're going to get to Jacobs' number, and I think that's where we're going to look at to pound it over.
Think we're all going to agree. Yeah, it's actually moved since we've been on the air because we've all been in unison on the use of Josh Jacobs needing to be high. It opened and was up until about 9:30 this morning at 69.5. It has moved up 5 yards. It is now 74.5, Gabe Neitzel.
Yeah, I'm still taking the over. As good as he's been, it's kind of shocking that he's only gone over 100 yards twice this season.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, he got close against Detroit. He's at 95. They just had to throw the ball because they were down 24-3. But I think that's going to be a big part of their identity going forward. I mean, Soldier Field, it stinks. The playing surface stinks. So the less you can, be throwing it out there and having receivers potentially slip as they make their cuts, I think giving it to Josh Jacobs, I'm taking the over.
John Anderson.
Well, luckily I took it on Tuesday, so I got the 69.5. But
Nice.
I'm still going over. I just feel like 75 yard over that number is a win, and under that is they've got trouble.
Yeah,
like if he's under and the passing's over, it's like how'd you get that far behind that you've had to desert what you think you should have to do to win the ball game.
It just seems obvious that this isn't over at 74.5. But Blue, I imagine you're with us, but give us your final thoughts on Josh Jacobs as an O-lineman, because I imagine it's going to be run with Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, definitely. I'm taking the over. On my app down here, the Hard Rock, I think he was at it's at 81.
Pull.
Down here at the Hard Rock. So that's what they have him here, and I took the over here on it because I think he's going for over 100. But I mean, it's the recipe today. It's the recipe today coming out of the bye week. Let's get this thing going in the right direction. So I'm on the over.
Let's go to the other running back. DeAndre Swift has had a nice year when he's been healthy for the Chicago Bears, and obviously he is no stranger to playing the Packers defense, just the Jeff Hafley Packers defense. His rushing yard prop only at 65.5 for DeAndre Swift, the Bears running back. Gabe? They might be throwing a lot because they might be down, but I imagine he's still going to come into play.
I think he's going to come into play early. Look, I think they're going to come out slow. They've come out slow every year under Matt LaFleur. They've come out slow. They've scored 13 points in the first quarter in those 5 games under LaFleur coming off the bye. I think it's just a product of you don't practice for a week, and then now you've been able to practice this last week. So I think because the Packers are going to start slow before the offense really starts clicking, that's going to give the Bears an opportunity to run the football. I'll take the over on Swift as well.
65.5, John Anderson.
Yeah, if I were actually a gambling man, I would not touch that number, right? Because it's just so. I might look at his total yards from scrimmage number as opposed to that one. But I think I'll limit that. I think I'll go with under. I'm going to lean on Gabe's. Let's go with third in 0 or negative run yardage, and what are they? 37th and more than 10-yard run.
Yeah, it's been very inconsistent. It's up and down.
Hopefully they can limit him to 3 and the rest of the time they stuff him. So I think I'll fall on the under there. But that's not that would be minimal outlay on my part for that number.
Yeah, I believe Bayport High School actually ranks ahead of them in that rankings, who will be playing for a Division I state title later this week at Camp Randall Stadium. Brian Bulaga, 65.5 is the rushing yard total for DeAndre Swift.
I'm going to take the under because I think that's their recipe, and I think Green Bay knows it. Like, they know they're going to try to run the ball against Green Bay, and the defense has to, like, there shouldn't be any, like, surprise. Like, they're going to have to run the ball. Like, there's no, oh my gosh, I can't believe the Bears actually tried to run it. No, they're going to run it. Like, that's how they're going to try to win this game, shorten it down, limit possession from Green Bay, is run it. So be ready for it. And that, to me, I think Green Bay's going to be ready for it. And it's going to be under 65.
Last one is the game total. It's 40.5. It is the second lowest total in the NFL this week. Second to only Minnesota and Tennessee, which is just a point under them. 40.5. Gabe.
I'm under on that. I just don't think the Bears' offense is going to solve what is ailing them by making a switch with their offensive coordinator, but their defense is good. And look, I don't think the Packers need to score an exorbitant amount to win this game. So I'm going to sit there and I'm going to take the over. Or excuse me, take the under.
Take the under on 40.5. John?
I'm just trying to add up 27 and 14, and that's the over.
Sure is. Barely, but it is.
Barely, but that's right in line. So that's where So I'm going to go over, but I don't think by a bunch.
That would be a half point.
I think the number's right. I think the number's right.
Well, I'm glad Vegas has the John Anderson seal of approval. I know all the bookies and line setters
Well, they
listening.
don't have my money, so long as that's fine. You can have my seal of approval. What you can't have is my paycheck.
That's the important part right there. Brian Bulaga, last thought, 40.5 is the game total.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over just by a little bit. So I think the Bears, I think they score. I mean, I'll give my game prediction, but I think they get a touchdown and some change. So I'm going to go just over.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think I'm with you guys. Or Gabe and John, that is. I guess John's technically over too. I think I'm with you, Gabe. I think it's going to be slightly under. The Bears haven't scored an offensive touchdown or a touchdown period since that Washington game. The Hail Mary hangover, as John Anderson has dubbed it. So
I believe it's 23 straight possessions without a touchdown.
That is not a good stat for those of you curious that don't work in the statistics business. That is rough. All right, our group of law offices, one call, one prediction ahead of Packers Bears, less than a half an hour away from kickoff. Coming up next, right here on Green Bay Game Day.
We're back with Green Bay Game Day after this on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey, riding with you every mile since 1977.
Hey sports fans, looking to level up your next private event? V Private Bar Services is your game changer. Move beyond the ordinary. V Private Bar Services crafts custom cocktails tailored to your brand and your guests' taste. Imagine a bar experience that's as unique as your business. Our expert mixologists will create a memorable experience that your clients and team will rave about. From signature cocktails to full-service bars, we've got you covered. Be the MVP of your next event. Visit vprivatebar.com/MVP to book today.
Swing into action to experience Sweetgrass and Sage Run in 2025. The Island Resort and Casino stay and play packages are a hole-in-one. By blending award-winning golf with exceptional amenities, we've become the premier resort destination in the Midwest. But don't wait. These popular packages fill up fast. To book your 2025 golf getaway and secure your spot on the green, visit islandresortgolf.com today.
Do you remember that electric moment when you suddenly realized that she was the one?
The one you were going to love forever.
The one you'd been waiting your whole life to meet.
She is the one.
The one.
Now it's time to find the one engagement ring that sparkles like she does.
Come to Kessler's Diamonds. We have a collection of incredibly special diamond engagement rings called the One Collection.
You need one special engagement ring for the one woman you will ever love.
Kessler's Diamonds is the one jewelry store where you can find the One Collection.
And Kessler's is the one store that offers the world-famous, no excuses, no fine print, lifetime warranty on every diamond engagement ring we sell.
We have the freedom to do this for you because Kessler's Diamonds is the one diamond store owned by its employees.
The One Collection starts at just $550.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Find the Kessler's nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Get organized with a new Dakota Closet System on sale now at Menards. Dakota Closets are versatile and can be installed anywhere, from home offices and laundry rooms to walk-in or reach-in closets and even kids' playrooms. Dakota Closets can be installed with just a screwdriver, and they're available to take home today, giving you more time to organize. Design your dream storage solution using our 3D closet planner. You create closets in store and on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious crash? It's free. Yes, free. As in, it won't cost you anything to speak with us. Not sure if you have a case? Call our team at Gruber Law Offices today. Your first call and your first consultation are always free. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. If you've been seriously injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Brighten up your home, workplace, or event with flowers and trust Welke's Milwaukee Florist to be your local florist. Welke's is family owned and has delivered beauty for customers and businesses for well over 100 years. Join Welke's flower subscription so your home is always fresh, or discover the benefits of creating a corporate account and leave the work to them. Welke's Milwaukee Florist has locations in Elm Grove and at 56th and North in Milwaukee. Go to welkes.com, that's WELKES.com for more info and to place an order.
This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. They really, 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 really suck. Yes, the Bears
still suck. Bum, bum. Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel, John Anderson, Packers legend, Super Bowl champ Brian Bulaga, with you for about another 20 minutes as we lead you up to kickoff between the Packers and the Bears. Great music choice. The Happy Schnapps Combo. The fact I know the name of that band is sad. And I know John Anderson also knows the name of that band.
I did not know the name of that band. That's good. I just think I love the fact that it's a polka. Like, that's totally Wisconsin. Right? You can poke it. And that there's actually what appears to be a children's choir involved. Like, that's awesome. let's get the youngsters in on that, too.
It's just a wholesome family song.
Just call up the Lombardi Middle School children's choir. Hey, we need you to drop a few bars on this.
I was a member of that for a while. Be careful.
Did you go to Lombardi? Is that where you went?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
There you go. No kidding.
Lombardi, Spartan, and then you go to be a Trojan. So I don't know why you switch sides of the war.
Right.
Somebody did not know their history very well. Like, has anybody read Homer? How can you do that? How can you switch like that? You can't just get off one boat and get on the other one. But I guess that works.
That's how it goes. Yep. Southwest High School.
Read the classics. Didn't read the classics.
Well, I was an Edison Eagle, so fly Eagles fly. But nonetheless, I won't waste your time on my Green Bay background. Time now to take a look at our Gruber Law Office's one call, which means we all make a prediction in regards to today's game. Of course, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. Gruber has a reputation for winning. Their experienced and powerful team works tirelessly to help people and families seriously injured in accidents by providing the best care and service. There is never a fee until your case is won. Gruber Law Offices has been serving the people and state of Wisconsin for over 35 years. Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all. Prediction time, but not game prediction time. Need a prediction of what will happen within the game. We start with the former player. Let's go to Brian Bulaga first. Blue, your one call.
Yeah, a lot of options with this one coming off the bye week. But I am going to go with Jordan Love. I think he plays a clean game today, no picks. I'm not sure how many times he's going to throw it. Like, obviously, I took the under on the 230. But I think for what he does today, I think he plays clean, and there's no turnovers, and this starts his run of playing quality turnover-free ball for the remainder of the way here.
I like that. I will also say you stole mine, so that's why I like that. John Anderson, we go to you. It's okay.
Yeah, so like after 6.5 games and you've thrown enough, I have to wait for him to show me rather than me wish upon it. So that's not going to happen.
Hope is typically a pretty good strategy, I've heard, John. Hope is a good strategy. Yeah.
Sure, I'll go with the old, the great Herm Edwards quote, which is not you play to win the game, but his other one, like, listen, he goes, if you got a goal but you don't have a plan, what you have is a wish. And I don't know how many Super Bowl wishes people have come through with and that. So I think some things are going to stay the same, right? Like, I think the way the Bears probably put this together is, we talked about quick passes, not going to do a ton of stuff. So I don't know that the line gets off the snide in terms of, defensive line, did they get a bunch of sacks? They could still wreak havoc, but I don't know if they're going to sack. I feel like this is odd. and I don't even know if you could ever get something on. I think that Jordan Love this time, he goes back. He will throw a couple of TD passes, but none of them will be to a wide receiver. They're going to be Kraft. And now, as you know, now that the lid's off the whole Josh Jacob things, I just think that's odd. I just think that to fix some of their red zone stuff, that might be the way to go instead of trying to force it with three guys tripped out on one side. So I think he throws a couple of them, but I don't think the wide receivers are involved in it.
I like that. That's creative.
Trying to change your red zone fortunes.
And I know you're just obsessed with that Josh Jacobs stat now that he's gotten into the end zone. I know you had him fitted.
Who's next. I want to know who's now next. That's all I want to know.
That's fair. Game night, so go ahead.
Speaking of Josh Jacobs, I'm going to stick with him. We've talked about him all morning long, about how he's going to be heavily featured. I think him having some good runs in the red zone is going to help those red zone L's for the Packers as well. For the second time this season, I am going to say Josh Jacobs finds the end zone 2 times or more.
I will stick with Josh Jacobs, but I will also pull in my guy, Jaden Reed. I think both of those guys have 100 yards from scrimmage today. Jacobs and Jaden Reed. Big games for both of them in Chicago. Coming up next, we wrap up the show. Final thoughts, game predictions. Packers, Bears, the oldest rivalry in the NFL is renewed at Soldier Field in just about 15 minutes. Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel, John Anderson, Brian Bulaga with you. We wrap up Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, right after this.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Day will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
Craft your Brewers mini plan for the 2025 season, featuring all new 6-packs and 12-packs. Get in on the action with great ticket rates, marquee matchups, and priority seating. Plus, you'll get a limited edition Brewers Crowler with each 12-pack or pair of 6-packs. Looking to customize your games to fit your schedule? Build your own ticket plan options are also available. Pick the plan for you at brewers.com/ticketfinder.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Looking for a totally rad flavor adventure, brochachos? Look no further than Surfer Boy Pizza as seen in Stranger Things. Each mouth-watering variety contains rich tomato sauce, delicious mozzarella cheese, and a gnarly range of toppings. The crust is crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. You'll think it was hand-tossed by the Surfer Boy Pizza dudes themselves. Look for it in the freezer aisle at your local store and buckle up your taste buds with Surfer Boy Pizza.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're looking for a truly unique luxury SUV, look no further than the new Range Rover Sport at Land Rover Waukesha.
The new Range Rover Sport SUV provides power, performance, sporting luxury, and all the latest technology and connectivity you want, plus the most luxurious ride.
And now is a great time to get an offer like this.
Get 3.9% special APR financing for up to 48 months on a new 2024 Range Rover Sport at Land Rover Waukesha. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art Brookfield office. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. And now, Holtebeck Eye Center is excited to add Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist that is now available to see patients. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol, learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Hi there, it's Scott from Pentatonics. So from the beginning of our journey in music, the foundation has been music education. It's so incredibly important that we continue to show kids the importance of music in our schools, in our homes, and even in the car. Music is such a powerful expression of emotion and individuality, and we are responsible for keeping the love for music alive. This message is courtesy of the United States Air Force.
Welcome back to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Packers-Bears kicks off in less than 10 minutes at Soldier Field in Chicago. That line has moved a ton this week. But it's kind of back to where it started. 6-point favorites now the Packers are, as it has moved back in favor of Green Bay. 40.5 is the over-under line. Packers 6-3. Bears 4-5. Big one. Big game feel a little bit. Kind of a must-win for the Packers if they want to win the division. But I've got no nerves. It's game prediction time here on Green Bay Game Day. Alex Strouf, Gabe Neitzel, John Anderson. Super Bowl champion Brian Bulaga hanging out with you. I will go first because I have said all week, I don't fear the Bears. I don't fear this game. I have no worries. Believe I've said 0% chance a few times, Gabe.
Once or twice I've heard you say this week, 0% chance.
Yeah, 0% chance. I stand by that. I will take the Packers 27-10 over the Chicago Bears. They break their touchdown woes, but just one for the Bears. 27-10 for the Green Bay Packers today. Gabe Neitzel.
I'm along the same lines in terms of the score prediction. I think the Packers are just going to get off to a little bit of a slow start. I think it's just hard to start quickly when you have that week off of no practice, and now you did practice leading into this game. But the Packers still win comfortably. I'm going to say 24-10 Packers win over the Bears.
Okay, right idea. John Anderson?
So I'm trying to think how I can make a 27-14 score into a one-possession game. Because I just feel like every game the Packers play, even the bad ones, like somehow they made the Vikings game a one-possession game, and they had a chance to make the Lions thing a one-possession. So if I could figure out how to make 27-14, that's going to be the score, a one-possession game. That's what I'd like to do. But I just think, and if all goes well, like I don't know that it's a necessarily clean game in terms of Jordan Love, but I think it would be nice to be a clean game where it's kind of, like Gabe, like you come out, you score on that first or second possession. You just kind of build through. The Bears are never kind of in there, but something goofy happens. There's a punt return. Something bounces off a guy's back. They're going to score because it's been 23 possessions without a score, so they're due. So I just would like it to be kind of go as routinely as possible, right? I don't want anything bouncing off people's face masks into another guy's arms. I don't want, anything like that. I just think it should be 27-14. It should be routine. It should be workmanlike, and then move on, and then save any of the crazy stuff you need for a San Francisco team that'll come in, and I think they're going to be really good, and they're going to be ready to go. So I would like this to just be, hey, how can we just put in the old 9 to 5 day, punch the clock, win the game, move on next.
Yeah, big one next week at Lambeau Field against the 49ers. Brian Bulaga, we give you the final word and the final prediction. Packers-Bears coming up in about 5 minutes.
Yep, I said it on Monday, I think, to Homer, and I'm going to stick with it. I like 31-10. I like 31-10. I think Green Bay's going to get off. I mean, I'm kind of opposite of Gabe. I think Green Bay's going to start off hot. I think they're going to come out of the gate. I think they're going to jump on Chicago early. I see 14-0 in the first half, like that quarter, maybe 7, and then I think they'll the second half. And I mean, I think Chicago's I think they're going to fight. They got embarrassed last week. They got to show something, right? There's got to be something that Chicago shows. That's why I think they'll score 10. But I think it's all Green Bay all day, 31-10.
Can I just say on the back of that, it's like I think they need that game, right? It would be nice. It's good to win, and they're bad. The Bears are a bad team, so you must win. But I think they could use a dose of an ass kicking.
Yeah,
right?
they sure could.
Would really do them good.
Yeah.
To have one of those.
I'm totally with you. A dose of an ass kicking. Hopefully, what's coming up in just a few minutes
that
at
was the name of my
Soldier Field.
band in our high school, by the way.
A dose of ass kicking. I'm sure John Anderson never got shoved in a locker at Southwest High School up in Green Bay. That does it for us today on Green Bay Game Day. Big thanks to Jason Wilde, Rob Domofsky, Brian Bulaga, John Anderson, and Gabe Neitzel for joining me throughout. A big thanks to Max Meyerson, our producer on Green Bay Game Day. Immediately following the game, join Homer, Tausch, Gary Ellerson, Jason Wilde, and your phone calls on Green Bay Game Night immediately following the final whistle right here on these very stations. This has been Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's